This is Snakes and Otters, a pointless discussion of eternal questions. Get ready. We're about to live in your head rent-free.
I am Martin.
And I'm Robert.
I am Marcus.
And I'm Cajun.
And I am Francis, and I am back.
You were gone?
Yes, thank you. Says the one who didn't come after me.
You notice we didn't have long eulogies in that last bit.
That's right.
No, we did not. No, we did not.
No, I was. I woke up somewhere else with a Cardassian gull with a British accent who kept asking me the defense plans for Federation and Minas Corva. Beyond that, I don't know. But I do know that I owe a great deal to Cajun and Martin, who came and got me.
We got strapped and
And how many lights are there?
Oh, 4. Absolutely. There are 4 lights.
Sure, at the end you didn't see 5?
Maybe, but I said 4.
That's all that matters.
That's right.
Stick with your story.
That's right. I said 4.
That's the thing, Deanna. At the end, I swear I could see 5 lights.
That's right. I wanted. I did. I really did.
You know, I hated that ending, the way he did that, because basically he admitted he broke.
He broke. Yeah, I know. Yeah. And I understand drama and all that stuff, but you're supposed to, if that happens, you have to continue that forward.
Yes.
And they didn't. Unlike Best of Both Worlds, they did a great job of once you get Borgified, you never
quite recover.
You never quite recover. And I love that. It lets the character grow. And
anyways, point is you're back.
I'm back.
Glad to have you. We missed you. We really did.
I missed being here.
We were. Marcus, he got the quantum gap contained in Lexan, and we were able to jump across and rescue you.
Yes, apparently that 2-inch Lexan is also quantum gap proof. In addition to being bulletproof.
I'm very
bullet
grateful.
Resistant.
Bullet
very
resistant.
grateful.
Bullet resistant, yes.
It's also biohazard proof.
Yeah. Well,
that one took you a second.
Yes. Well, at the Imperator's place, biohazard is a definite need.
Bring a towel.
Bring a towel. Yes.
That's right.
Wipe down
Your
everything.
own towel, you mean?
Yes.
Yes, your own towel. Yes. Yes, and take it with you.
That's right. Yes.
Or burn it, whatever.
Yeah, I am sorry that I missed it. That's for sure.
All biohazard must be disposed of properly.
Exactly. So this is episode 212, and this is Hoopajoob.
Hoopajoob.
So we record this for dropping the end of December.
That's right. Happy New Year, folks.
Yes, Happy New Year. Hope everyone had a Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah and enjoyed their Festivus and the airing of grievances and whatever else you.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
That's right. I got a lot of problems with you people.
Well, that's kind of the episode, isn't it?
Yeah.
Airing of grievances and then the feats of strength.
Yes. We're much better at the airing of grievances.
much better.
So, but it's a Hoopajoob, and because it's year end, I think it was Martin came up with the title for this one. Didn't you, Martin?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay, maybe it was.
No, it was. I didn't do it. It was.
Oh, well,
yeah, it must have been you. Okay, so yeah, if you don't like this episode, listeners, it's all Martin's fault.
Blame Martin. Yeah.
We are here at Studio R. We have translocated Studio R from the atrium, which is now too small or too crowded, really, to hold all of us.
Yeah.
And if you really don't like the episode, send the complaints to Martin, and he'll get strapped to make you happy.
There you go.
That's right.
There you go. So we are sitting in the living room and the next to the rotating Christmas tree that Martin likes so much. He saw that. It's like, oh, the tree rotates. And so, we're in nice, comfortable chairs, except for Cajun, because he likes his...
Comfortable for me.
It's comfortable for you, yeah. The rest of us are in nice, cushy chairs. But it's a Hoopajoob, and we're going to talk about New Year's, and I use the air quotes, resolutions, because as a guy who's into all that goal setting and personal development stuff, I really hate the concept of New Year's resolutions. So I have a little bit of a different take on this. And, listeners, you know me. I do not plan much.
Research?
For our episodes. But when I do, I try and make it special. So, Cajun, if you would reach behind you, there are 4 blue bags, and I would like you to hand one to each of the boys.
Really? He has planned, hasn't he?
So, Merry Christmas.
Ooh, Merry Christmas. Wow.
It's not anything extravagant.
I think I know what this is.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Well, depends on what you think it is, but it's not.
And I guess I'll take the 4th one for the man.
And you
gave those to the boys.
Yes.
This one's for the man.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
So in this, have presents for you boys, and you guys can go ahead and open them.
Okay. Yes, sir. Oh,
it's not major, but there's a purpose for them.
Hold up here.
bourbon tasting logbook, and
Yes.
bourbon is better.
So
Wow,
Notes.
a bourbon-fied thing.
Very nice.
So, and there's also something else in there.
Okay.
So there's more.
There's more.
There's more. So the
something down here.
the logbook is for obvious reasons. That's for us to
Yes.
to record our observation. And I did not get a logbook. That's where it went. One of you has my logbook because I didn't get a logbook for
The Imperator.
the Imperator because does it have stuff written in it?
Probably. I don't know.
Yep. I wondered where that went because I figured, what's the point?
Well, I smell.
You smell. I mean, if you want one, I will get you one. I just didn't really think it would be.
Well, you can just be his secretary anyway. You
That's
can
true.
do
I can
his
make notes,
and
yeah.
yours.
So then what's the other little thing here?
Well, there's more. There's more in the bag. So
Yes, we have a pen.
Yes.
And some.
Ink.
ink. So
These are ink cartridges. Okay.
yes.
the
So
pen.
everybody has a fountain pen.
Fountain pen.
Yes.
Wow, I've never had a fountain pen.
Really?
No. It's always too much work.
So we all have
It is
them.
a fountain
This is
pen.
cool. This is a.
If you don't like your particular colors, swap amongst you.
No. This is excellent. It's very. It's very.
Should be in there.
cultured. It's
I
very-
put it in there. Probably. You may because I did. I put them together last night, and I very definitely put a pen in each one.
Oh, see,
along
we
with the
should have been
cartridges.
doing this all along.
Exactly. I saw that. Now, the other book is the Bourbon is Better.
Right.
So this is a notebook. And the intention for the note, by the way, I would not use the fountain pen in the log book.
Yeah.
The paper's crap and it bleeds.
Okay.
Use a regular pen or pencil for that.
Understood.
I have not tried the logbook, so hopefully it doesn't bleed there. So the point of this is, for the logbook, is there's a challenge
Okay.
for all
Okay.
of us. So when we come together each month, hopefully each of us will have made some notes on things we can do, how to make the show better. This is our Snakes and Honors, How Do We Get Better book.
The bourbon is better. Is Snakes and Otters is better. Always.
Yes, that is the intention.
So this
and
gives us
every time we get together, we should have a couple of new ideas or thoughts in there to grow the show, make it better, do whatever,
Not just content, but anything.
anything related to the show.
Look at you being all intentional and shit.
I know.
Wow.
Now, Cajun is opening. He's pulled open the pen. You can use ink where you get a bottle of ink and you can just put the cartridge in that.
Yeah.
And you twist it and it will fill that up. Rather than doing that and making a mess here, I got starter cartridges for everyone.
Good idea, Lord.
There's like a half dozen black and a half dozen blue. So whichever your preferred color is. If you don't like one, you prefer all of the other, then again, trade amongst yourselves.
Yeah.
So that is, it's not much, but thought we're starting a new year. This just works well with the New Year's resolution.
Absolutely. I've never had a fountain pen. Thank you, sir.
Well, you're quite welcome. It's
I
not
mean,
like a
it's
super
just-
fancy
And
one.
along that same note, we must note that I brought you a book back from Vegas from the
And that was the next
big
thing.
writers conference out there.
Yep. So that was my next order of business. So Cajun was out at 20 Books in November and got to talk briefly with David Weber, one of my favorite authors, and brought me a signed copy of Uncompromising Honor, which is his next to last Honor Harrington novel. There's one came out after this, not that long ago. And just wonderful book, loved it, and just very pleased to have an autographed copy.
May I, sir?
You going to read the inscription?
Oh yeah,
Because it is a bit humorous in a
It
sense.
is. It is.
Yes, please read
Yes, it
that
is.
out.
Yes. So it says, let's get over to the page. Oops, skip past it.
Of course, it sticks to.
There we go. Yes. So it says, to Tim from the other Tim, and I can't quite read his scribbles there at the end. Can you tell what is after the from the other Tim?
Oh, that's his signature.
Oh, that is the signature?
That is his signature.
Okay. Yeah, yes, I get the David. So that's right. It's David M, isn't it? Something like David Mark Weber?
Yeah,
Yes.
I believe
Yes.
so.
Okay. Yeah, being on the same line is my name threw me because I thought it was part of the inscription. So yes, very pleased. But that was
How many books are in the series to date?
oh my gosh!
I know it's tons.
In the main series, I think there's like 18 now.
Yeah.
I'd say close to 20.
And
Well, round
of the
off
side
number.
series, there's probably close to a dozen.
And he's written all of them, right?
No, he has co-written most of the side
Side
ones.
series.
I think there may be one or two that he has not had a hand in, but all the main one he has written.
Right, and I knew it was kind of his baby, his great character. I mean, is he done? I mean,
No.
You said you said there's one after this, but
Yeah, so there's one after this one, which kind of wraps up the main story that has been building for the last 30 years.
okay,
And yet, I just saw he's got another new one coming out soon.
yeah,
And I forget what the description said, but it's not exactly a straight continuation. There's probably some time, or he's going to do one of the other side stories. I forget which. And there's also a prequel series that he started, Manticore Ascendant, that takes place early on in the history of the Star Kingdom, which is the
universe
Star Nation
that he works in here.
honor belongs to. And Cajun has, by having me read that, I just realized
You had to go back and edit a little
read
bit.
real
there.
names, yes. So
You skip a bit, brother.
yeah.
Let's move on.
Anyways, but resolutions. So my thinking on this is, first of all, resolutions are
Crap.
kinda. I mean, G.K. Chesterton has a great quote about these, and I'll have to find that in just a second, about resolutions. But the thing I don't like about resolutions is that people have turned them into a joke, right?
Oh yeah, culturally
Because
speaking, yeah.
And it's not so much that that the concept is bad. It's just that the joke basically has become you set your resolution in January 1st, and by January 15th you've broken it 20 times, and
Give it up for Lent later, yeah.
yeah you give it up for hopefully Lent comes early so you can give it up even
As
sooner.
early as possible. That's right.
The exercise places, the public or the gyms like
gyms, yeah.
Planet Fitness and what have you, they are packed the first 2 or 3 weeks of January. By February, they are back to their normal level
Yep.
because people have given up.
Resolutions are good intentions that quickly fall to the wayside.
They are, and that's the problem because people don't, and people kind of know that, it's become just a fun thing to do, and I take this sort of thing far more seriously than that, and that's because, to me, if you're gonna resolve to change your life, it shouldn't just be a half-ass thing, right?
No
Yeah,
half-assery
Should be all
around.
ass.
Allowed.
Yes, if you're gonna do it, you whole ass it.
That's right.
Right.
You whole ass the
I
thing.
mean, giving up chocolate bars is
You're
not,
going all in and bringing your own Vaseline with you, not just your own towel.
I was wondering when we could get to the good sexual innuendos here. We were so masterful at that.
Oh goodness. Well, what would an episode be without some sexual innuendo?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Vaseline.
Well, that too. I mean, certain times,
And the beat goes on.
you got to lube up. That's all I'm saying. Yesterday, here we go. So the whole concept. What was that, Martin?
Oh no, please go ahead.
Oh, I thought you were calling a timeout
No,
here.
I was waiting for Chesterton. I was just.
Oh, you're waiting for Chesterton,
Scratching
yes.
my wrist.
Oh, I thought he was lifting the strap off on. What?
Eh,
Strap on off?
No,
right.
wrong.
So- Rock.
Wrong. Please go ahead with Chesterton.
So I got to take off my glasses so I can see.
Class this up a little bit because
Class this up. Yeah, we need it.
we're descending someplace.
So this is G.K. Chesterton. It's on the Chesterton calendar. That's all I know. I don't know what it's actually originally from, but it certainly sounds like him. So I believe it is a quote from Chesterton. Mm-hmm. The object of a new year is not that we should have a new year, is that we should have a new soul, a new nose, new feet, a new backbone, new ears, and new eyes. Unless a particular man made New Year resolutions, he would make no resolutions. Unless a man starts afresh about things, he will certainly do nothing effective. And I think the point of what Chesterton is saying is to whole ass it, as the Imperator said. And so it's the kind of thing that, you can say, okay, I want to lose weight. well, that doesn't mean anything. If you lose a pound, you've technically achieved your resolution. And that kind of stuff is, to me, it's meaningless. Resolutions without a plan, it's just a wish.
You have to have the plan, and you have to be realistic, too.
Yes.
Without being realistic, then it goes nowhere either. Oh, I want to lose weight and look good in a bikini this summer. Well, if you're starting at 300 pounds, you're not going to look good in that Speedo or bikini within 6 months' time.
Right.
Unrealistic.
Are you suggesting that the devil is in the ambiguity? Because you say, I want to lose weight is
It's both.
non-specific.
It's not just
It's
the
the off-ramp of the good intention highway for definition.
Well, yeah, because you can easily rationalize your way back, saying, well, hey, I lost weight. I lost
Exactly,
pounds.
exactly.
I'm good.
It's not just the ambiguity of the resolution or the goal. It's the lack of conviction. And part of the conviction is having a plan. If you don't have a plan, you don't have real conviction.
Russian son, don't take a dump
Without a plan. Exactly. I was thinking about that this morning.
I had to beat Martin to
planning.
it because I know it was on the tip of his tongue.
Yeah.
Situational awareness.
Exactly.
Well, I would like to pause though and just recognize the excellent wordsmiths of Cajun, because I really like that, the off ramp of the good intentions highway.
Yeah.
Because as
good
we
turn
know,
of phrase.
the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yes. Or Bishop Skulls is one.
Oh, yes, there's few things on
One
that
said.
road.
Yes. Who said that?
That you got me. I don't know.
Oh, my
it's
goodness.
old.
Yeah, it's ancient.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's been a long time. It goes back to the Middle Ages, I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
I think it goes back before that. I want to say that comes from the time of Augustine.
Well, then let's just say it was Augustine and call it a day. That's
I'm just shocked that he doesn't remember.
Well, he wasn't there.
exactly. That's right.
Although you are the oldest of us.
That's correct. I am Connor MacLeod of the Glen MacLeod, and I cannot die.
I was born in
Glenn
1518.
I
McCall.
was going to say, give it on, brother. I know you can do it.
I was born in 1518 in the village of Glenfinnan on the shores of Loch Shiel,
That's right.
and I am immortal.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to get a little bit of that Christopher Lambert.
Not bad.
So which
not
of
bad.
you is the Spanish peacock?
Oh, that would have to be me. No question about that. I am Juan Sanchez Villalobos Ramirez,
Chief Metallurgist.
of King Charles V of Spain.
Remember that off-ramp we just mentioned a minute ago? Y'all went wide open.
I was going to say, this is
Now we're in a rabbit hole.
Yeah, now we're in a rabbit hole.
That's where we go. That's correct.
So, anyways, that's. I just want to throw that out there because I don't want to. At least I would hope none of us would come here and come up with this whole, I want to, lose some weight or any of that kind of stuff. If we're going to do some snakes and otters resolutions, let's be real about it.
Okay. As in real as in could happen, or real as in we're going to do this?
Both,
Okay.
either,
Well, in that spirit, could I go first?
absolutely.
Bring it on.
So generally, I'm in 100% agreement with you. I never make resolutions because, what's the point? And I don't. That's all small potato stuff. Most of the time, people do anyway.
Yes. To be fair, if they were to be serious about it, those small potato things are usually the things that bigger stuff is built on.
Right, but a lot of times it's very similar. Again, not to disparage Lent, but a lot of people kind of take the same
Yes.
approach. Well, I'm going to give up candy bars for Lent, or I'm going to. It's like you couldn't aim a little higher.
Well, for some people, that is a struggle.
So well
It's
put.
like that's where of all the things, the character flaws you may have, that's where you aimed. How about
Well, that could even be a big impact on health, though. That
Yeah.
may lead to something more in the long run. If they
Yeah.
can
Well,
stick
For
that's
to
most
it.
people, it's
to
not.
Robert.
I
get
just
what you're-
have
Right,
real
right.
doubts on whether
But-
they'll stick through it.
Yeah, but if it's a health issue, then, don't just say candy bars. Just say, well, I'm going to make a concerted effort to reduce my sugar intake and my calorie intake, and
That is an adult version of the
right,
give up
right,
candy
and,
because
Yes.
yeah, and
because you're
for
right.
real.
A lot of people still are in that third grade mentality
Yes.
when it comes to giving
Yes.
stuff up.
Yes.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the same thing I did in the third grade that didn't work then and isn't working
Right,
now.
right. So it's just a call to, like you said, to be considered and serious and make a real plan.
Intentional.
Yes, intentional.
Yes.
So again, so normally I don't, but in the spirit of our episode here, yes, I'm going to make a commitment again to continue. I'm not going to say finish, but make progress on my writing project.
Excellent. Excellent.
Well, yeah.
So-
Exactly, yeah.
So define make progress because that's kind of the whole point.
Another 30,000 words, say by June.
That is a good, solid goal. That is 5,000 words a month.
Yeah, and that's very reasonable.
That is very reasonable.
So,
very reasonable.
I think that's going to involve a little playing hooky from work, which is cool.
Well, you have vacation days.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
That's why they give them to you.
If you break it down, divide that 30,000 by 180 days.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a whole lot of not a whole lot of words.
Some weeks you could get more,
and some weeks you can get more.
Less. I mean, just don't track it.
Yep. NaNoWriMo is great for that kind of instilling that kind of discipline. Although I find that people who do NaNoWriMo, they never edit their books in December. They take December off because they have shot their wad.
Well, yeah, that's very well put.
Because doing 30 straight days of about 1,700 words a day, that's a lot of writing. And 1,700 words, if you're not a writer, you're thinking, well, that doesn't sound like a lot. That's a lot.
It is, yeah, and
that's a couple of hours of solid work for most people.
Going to be
or longer.
It's going to be shit. It's going to be crap. It's going to be awful.
I don't know how long you've been doing it.
That's what I was going to say. Unless you're good at it, unless you've Mercedes Lackey would say, unless you've already written your 100,000 words or million words.
Yeah, million words. 100,000 words is your first draft.
Right, yeah. Unless you've already written your million words, then I guarantee you. But if you've already written your million words, you don't give a shit about NaNoWriMo.
Exactly. Those who are doing NaNoWriMo are the ones who are still building their craft.
I'll just keep it simple. Keep an Excel spreadsheet.
Yep.
Just do your daily count, whether it's 0 or whether it was 1,000 that day or anywhere in between. I mean,
do a notebook if if you're not computer savvy.
Well, I mean, if you want to be really cute, take the file, save as every day with a date at the end of it, and compare them when you're done.
That's way more work than just
but the spreadsheet or even a page in a notebook, you can have it at a glance. You don't even have to go
the hard part is because you are going to have to do a little bit of math unless you're using something like Scrivener, which will give you your daily word count.
If you set your Excel spreadsheet up right, it can too.
Yes, it can. That's what I'm saying. There's a little bit of math involved in your setup if you're doing that. Yeah. But either way,
and save your blank before you start to use as a master every time you start a new project.
Yeah. So if you write 5 days a week,
well, I think
over 6 months, that's 400 words a day.
Yeah. So I think what it'll be fits and starts.
Yeah, I was going to say there's no way you could commit to doing that.
Right. I'm just saying that's how easy.
But that's how it has to end up averaging. Yes.
Well, break it out to the week. In a week's time, where you can squeeze in a week's time, whatever that number is.
If I could write,
1,000 words a week. I mean, that's a spitball. I don't know the number.
Oh well, but I mean, if I were off work for a week, if I could get to 6,000 to 8,000 in that week, that's probably a reasonable somewhere in there.
That's a lot of writing in a week, 6,000 to 8,000.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, it'd be 1,200 words a day, I guess, something like that.
If you do every day,
it kind of depends on where, because you're going to be in the zone sometimes, and assuming you write in scenes like I do, and I know not everybody does, but when you sit down, you kind of general idea what the scene is. You can blow through that scene probably well. It's getting the next scene or the next 3 scenes or whatever.
It's that drop out for a little while and go, oh, okay, I know what I can do here, and then
because you're pantsing this, right?
Fairly much pantsing, yes.
Yeah, okay. So I find pantsing to be while it is fun because you don't, because you're discovering the story as you go.
Yeah.
If you're trying to hit a hard target like that, pantsing makes it more difficult, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree. I agree. Yeah.
Because if you don't know what the next scene is going to be or what you're supposed to accomplish in that scene, it takes a lot longer to do that scene.
Right. And a lot of that's up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
or in my notes. It's just.
Well, that's why, in many respects, pantsing is almost not a thing because it's just, you're plotting in your head. And you're kind of doing it at the moment, but you do have some idea what you're doing.
I mean, even Stephen King has an idea, even though he says he's a total pantser. He's probably not as much of a pantser as he thinks he is.
Yeah, he's done it so much.
Although when he was on coke and alcohol all the time, he probably was a total pantser.
Well, yeah,
because he probably had no idea where he was.
And I find those works more interesting.
Yeah, well, the guys that you turned me on to the
Steve Carell, and what's the other guy's name?
Yeah, I don't remember. I can't remember the name of the podcast now. But they're great. I love listening to them. They were at 20 Books.
Yes, I actually sat in on the podcast. I recorded there.
Oh, excellent. But yeah, they love King, but early King when he was still on drugs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow.
I can see that some. I think they're a little harsher on him than I would be.
Subject matter that he writes, that probably did add more literary picture to what he was writing.
Well, Hemingway's famous for saying, "Write drunk and edit sober."
Yes,
And that's kind of where a lot of this, and there's some truth to
I mean,
that.
hey,
Yeah.
Caddyshack was made entirely on cocaine.
I can see that.
So, I mean, when Ted Knight was the only guy not messed up.
Well, is it possible to throw something against the wall in a drug-filled rage and come up with genius? Maybe.
Oh, absolutely, it
I mean,
is.
I was gonna say,
the
because-
career of Doug Kenny would argue yes.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, I can give you an example from the fine arts world. When I was at Bellarmine studying art, we had a guy who was brought in from New York to be the painting teacher,
Yeah.
and his name was Haney.
Yeah, that's
And,
Haney. I remember
I
Haney.
remember him, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I had art history with Haney as an outstanding professor.
Exactly.
I mean, I remember him on campus. I never had him, but
He used to talk about this one artist who was hot artist, doing avant-garde kind of crap, and what his art agent would do would get him a bunch of coke. He'd get high, throw a bunch of paint on the canvas, and have this gaggle of assistants come in and clean it up, and he'd sell these things for hundreds of thousands of dollars, $1 million paintings.
wow.
And he had no idea what he was doing because he was so coked up. And he didn't even really finish the product. That's the story that Haney told. This is an example from the 50s and 60s now, but if Jackson Pollock wasn't high
Yeah.
when he was dripping paint on his canvas from high above, he should have been.
Huh.
And the people and honestly, I cannot stand Jackson Pollock. I think that's just crap.
Yeah, not a big Pollock fan.
He has a following.
He does,
Yeah.
but is the following because the art is so good or because it's avant-garde?
Well, yeah, you can make
Yeah,
that argument
because
a
it's
long way. Yeah.
flying in the face of the bourgeois and blah,
Exactly.
blah, blah.
Exactly.
Are you a Mondrian fan?
To a degree, not. They're interesting, but I'm not.
It seems like the visual interest would not last very long. You go, oh, that's okay. Well, no, let's move on.
Right. I mean, they're curious.
Rothko, kind of the same thing.
Yeah. Well, even oh shoot. Oh, who's the guy who did the Liechtenstein?
Oh yeah, yes.
He did the comic stuff. Some of that is it's interesting, but really, if I looked hard enough, would I find your painting in an old comic book? Because I feel like I would, and if I did, I'm like, well, that knocks it down a notch, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not as creative as we.
I mean, it's interesting because it pushed the envelope as far as what you could do.
Yeah.
But it wasn't necessarily great beyond that. It's like Warhol was able to do both.
Okay.
Not necessarily everything. The Campbell Soup thing and the Marilyn Monroe duplicate pictures. It's like, okay, the first one's good. But beyond that, I mean, it's the same shtick over and over.
Yeah.
Oh, proper credit. The Writer Dojo.
Writer Dojo, yes.
DOJO was in Karate Dojo, and his partner on there, Steve Diamond.
Yes, Steve Diamond, yes.
And Larry Corey.
Korea.
I'm sure I'm butchering it.
I think he pronounces it like the country. So
Is that our first modern art rabbit hole?
It is.
I don't know.
I don't know that we've ever done that before.
I don't know. We might have, but certainly probably not as deep as that.
I know
definitely
I just realized I don't think we've ever talked about Rothko and Liechtenstein.
That's right. And Warhol's never come up before. So
Warhol.
this is an interesting. We always manage to go interesting no matter what we do. But
Yeah.
So anyway, my point being that I'm going to have to kind of freewheel it, and if I get some days off, but the challenge will be not being so burned when I get home from work that I can devote a little time, maybe 200 words, 400 words, something like that, because I just feel so burned by the time
I understand.
I was going to ask, because we've often commented when you're not around, how is it he doesn't have time to do this? And that's you finally answered the question.
Yeah,
it's not the question of time; it's the question of who you are
Yeah.
at a given moment.
Right. Because, I mean,
Get out, walk, move some, dictate into your phone on app ideals or something, you know.
Oh,
Even
that's
words
not bad.
itself while you're out there moving.
yeah.
You get moving, you pick some energy back up, even though you think, oh, I can't do this.
Believe
One
it
foot in
or-
front of the other and get moving.
Believe it or not, thinking up ideas. I write homilies in the shower all the time because you're
that's an image I don't think I needed to.
That's a rabbit hole there. I'm not even going down. And I've been down many
because you're
more.
doing something that's very, you don't have to think about it. Your mind can go.
I think a lot in the shower, yes.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's a very good
I
thing.
think Cajun has something for me there
Yeah.
because I need to keep up with my PT exercises, my home program.
Right.
And when I get moving and doing that, my joints feel better.
Yes.
And that burning,
that
that burnout
energy
that you
comes
feel
back.
is less so.
You get your second wind by then.
Yeah.
It's kicking in,
So that's
basically.
instead of just flopping in my office chair and seeing what's on Facebook.
Well, we've talked about this before. I don't remember if it was.
Start your goal out on that. Walk 10 houses down, turn around, and come back and see.
You got
how
a
it
nice
goes.
neighborhood,
See if you get
so
moving.
Just come home and have sex.
that too.
Spoken like the Imperator himself.
Yeah.
Well, he is true statement there.
That's right.
It
Absolutely. How about that?
if
He might be more exhausted then. And he might not care about the writing
gets the
after that.
juices flowing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's
Kinda
going to
does get the
release
juices
many endorphins
Yes.
to
But,
inspire creativity.
one of the things we talked about, it might have just been at Waffle House, because I remember we talked about it there a long time ago.
Yes, a long time ago.
I think we talked about this on the show once. Motion creates emotion.
Absolutely, it is
Yeah.
that very thing is what inspires me to edit well in the process, because that's when you fix where that's not, all of a sudden things come alive.
Right. Well, I mean, not just for the writing.
That's right.
But for the motivation to write.
Well, I was going to say, actually, take that and run with it. But you're exactly right.
It's
Yeah.
the motion in your ocean.
So I think if I were to combine some of my exercises that I'm supposed to be doing anyway and kind of get that moving again, then I might be able to, then focus a little bit, shake off the traffic burnout and reapply myself and get a few words in.
Well, if you don't, you may not write them, but you may think them. You may plan. So when you do sit down, the pump is primed and you flow.
Yeah.
Yep.
And again, it wouldn't
I'm
take
always
a
making
lot.
one-line notes on my phone if I'm out thinking on a memo program. I mean,
Yep.
when I'm walking and stuff. Okay,
yeah,
start small. Say,
most of
I'm gonna
mine I
do
do
10
in my-
houses, turn around, come back.
Most of mine I do
See
in
how
my
you feel.
head, but
Apple, with a new version of iOS and iPad OS that just dropped, they've got a new journaling app that's built into the OS.
Cool.
So if you don't have a notes app, you can always just pull that up and throw your notes in there.
Yeah, because you never know when a cool turn of phrase or something that you want to include will pop in.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And you just want
It
to
literally happens all the time.
Scribble notes, and I've got stuff like that.
and you realize, oh shit, I shouldn't have said it that way. Say it this way. It can get as granular as you want it to. Of course, I'm in the editing process. That's where I'm at the moment. But it's the same thing.
Yeah. So anyways, so
Can I tell one quick joke, and I will
Absolutely.
I will pass
Absolutely.
this along because Imperator made me laugh. There's I think I'm stealing this from Mike Birbiglia, who's a stand-up comic who famously has narcolepsy.
okay.
So he was talking about he was reading about narcolepsy, and he was reading about women who have narcolepsy who their trigger for falling asleep immediately is an orgasm.
Yep.
He says, well, a woman falls asleep immediately after an orgasm. Why don't you just call them men?
I was thinking something along those lines. Yes.
He's here all week, ladies and gentlemen.
So-
Tipping waiters and waitresses.
I thought that was a pretty good one that I heard on the satellite radio.
So now we have to come up with a joke too.
He keeps setting the bar higher and higher.
Yes.
So I just, I so appreciate the back and forth and the help and the creativity and the suggestions from everybody. And I think I'll pass the microphone off now.
So who wants to go next?
Yeah, I want you to.
The Imperator, yes.
Oh,
Yes, you usually sit over there just sniping. So
yeah, I do. Well, actually, my big plans in this new year are I've got 3 world record launches that I'm going to.
That's right.
After.
Yes, you are getting closer and closer.
I am. I'm hoping on the first to do this new class of rocket launches for a world record. And then
these are a particular type of rocket.
these are the ones that I'm doing right now are water rockets.
Yes, he's attempting a record for water
Water-powered rockets.
Water-powered rockets.
They use water as the mass against which the air is pushing.
Huh.
And I'm going to go for the new class. There's a new class for unreinforced open class that I'm going to go for, hopefully right around January 1st.
And these are essentially just soda bottles.
These are modified soda bottles. Yeah, I mean, this first one that I've got going up on that I'm going after, it's launching with about $1,000 worth of gear in it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a soda bottle with an altimeter and
Yeah, full on logging altimeter. I've got
World War II fighters didn't have this much
yes,
hardware.
no, they didn't. And also, this one's
Neither did the
gonna
first
be-
trip to the moon.
No, it didn't. But this one's also going to be transmitting the video back to a base station, and then the other two are going to be another unreinforced height with a set maximum pressure of 100 psi for height, and
hence the Lexan.
yeah, and then another one that's a max pressure of 100 that's going to be for time aloft.
Oh, wow.
Bigger parachute.
You notice he said base station. I think he's trying to hide the evil layer part where
Yeah,
this leads to
that's
takeover of the country.
But now
The
eventually,
Imperator's volcano lair.
Eventually, I want to get into the unlimited classes, and that's what the Lexan's for testing of the pressures. And there I'm talking about hitting upwards of 2,000, 3,000 PSI, which is a lot of oomph to have blow up at your face.
A bit, yes.
A bit.
A bit.
Yeah,
A bit. Yes.
So I went and collected a bunch of...
So you may hit your resolution goal
Yes.
within the first month.
Well, within the first couple of months, hopefully. And then I've got to go
Pardon me?
for the larger records that
Yeah.
are unlimited classes.
Yeah, because he's going to build.
Yes, because you've been putting all of the
One
pieces
on the
together
neck.
for some time.
I have been working on this project actually since 2001.
Well, I meant the current piece. I mean, yeah,
The current stuff, yeah, it's
still
just
been, yeah,
currently
several months,
getting
yeah.
really up hot.
yeah.
The launch, the particular launching equipment that I developed, the special fins, everything. It's come over the course of years. It's coming together.
Right. Lots of trial and error for
It
that
is.
stuff. Yeah.
It's a lot of trial and error.
Well, that's not unlike the development process of any major piece of
This is
technology.
true.
Even though none of this is groundbreaking, new, innovative type of stuff. You're just applying things in new ways.
I'm applying lots of different things in completely new ways.
Right. Right.
And just for fun.
And well, I'm doing it for fun, and also the goal is to get all of this together with
Yes.
NASA, and we're going to use this equipment in schools and in scout organizations, different types of organizations.
Yes. Yes.
To encourage kids to work in STEM, science,
Right.
technology,
Outstanding,
engineering,
outstanding.
mathematics.
So necessary.
And get them excited about it. And one of the things that kids really get excited about is, if they can build something that they've never done before in just a few minutes, and then when they can send it up 100 feet in the air, 200 feet in the air, with spraying out water out the back end of it as it launches, and then they go chase it down, and the kids just glow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's part of it, getting kids excited about technology and math and reaching for the stars. So it's not just a goal for me; it's a goal for get this goal more people inspired.
Right. Right. Right.
So
Very laudable, sir. Very laudable.
well, thank you.
Indeed, sir.
But yeah, I mean that's my big.
Who would have
thing
thought
that's
the
going on.
Imperator making the world a better place?
Well, I'm trying.
Who
My
would have thought?
My wife says I'm very trying.
Well, yes.
And none of us will disagree with her.
Yes.
Yeah, she'll get no argument.
Your wife is a wise woman, sir.
I don't think there's too many women that have known us all that wouldn't have said that. But all right.
Okay, yeah.
Some of us are more trying than others, though. That is true.
That we are.
Yes.
I guess I should give it up to Cajun now. Let's
Or Francis. I was going to go last, or I can go next, or however. Totally freewheeling.
Go ahead, Cajun.
All right. Resolutions, bullshit. Life changes. That's what it all boils down to. Basically,
Absolutely.
You make a plan, you change something in your life, and that doesn't mean it is a forever life change either. Some change is a short-term base, some a long-term base. If you're trying to kick the mule of the heroin there, that's probably a long-term base.
Yeah.
If you're trying to save money to help better your family and get a better car for transportation, that's more of a short-term base. So it can vary greatly. A couple examples. Mine is a continuation of life change starting back in about 2019 when my life pretty much exploded, and went to hell and back. I won't go into all the details there. And then here comes that little thing we called the pandemic on top of everything, shut everything down. I looked at myself and said, got to do something about this weight. And I looked at it realistic. I said, I want to lose between 20 and 30 pounds a year. Well, you're already going back 5 years, so you can do the math on that, on what I've already dropped at this point. And I got about 40, 50 pounds more I'd like to lose, and that'll be a continuation going into this year of that. So looking at another 20, 30 pounds, 2 to 3 pounds a month hits that.
It does.
It's amazing. Take a lot, and I started walking a whole lot. And I've dropped enough now that I need to be more intense focus, whether with some direct weight exercises, so forth, a little bit more cardiac, with the heart, getting it going a little bit more now that I'm to a point in shape. Of course, I do have artificial knees, so that does slow me down some.
Right.
Can't go jogging or running wide open unless something's chasing me, like Dave, who knows, the cocaine bear, out in the woods there, coming around behind you. But then I might figure out how to run my dang ass off.
You don't have to run faster than the bear. You just have to run faster than your closest competitor.
Yeah.
Unless you're alone.
Unless you're alone.
Then you are screwed.
You have to run faster than the bear.
That's right.
Yes.
That's what I'm looking at.
Don't run. Reload.
Writing, I've got a few possible projects coming up. I cannot talk about them at this point, considering I'm locked in under NDA with information. But I have done about 3 million words of audio books and reading in the last 6 weeks since the Vegas conference, 20 books.
Nice. This is prime time of the year for you for that kind of stuff.
It is. It is. The weather's slowed down. As we know, we come out to the ranch to form to record out at my place. So other times of the year is much more busier.
Right. The bourbon seeds are taken care of for the year.
That's right. So that's basically my continuation of life at the moment.
That's outstanding, man.
So, do you have a word target or anything, a project that you want to get to a certain point before the end of the year?
It's going to move much faster than that if everything takes off right. Then, like I say, I can't even get towards that point of it at the moment.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Well, we believe in you and support you fully, and hoping your weight and all your exercise works out for you.
Yep. Amen. So, Francis, you want to go next, or you want me to go next?
No, I can go next. That's
all right.
Fine. It's
actually, you know what? Let's stop because I think
moment,
now would be a good time for bourbon break.
Indeed, sir.
Right.
Well done.
43 minutes in. So I'll go since I started the bourbon break. I've gone back to an old favorite, 1792, the single barrel.
Oh, good stuff.
So this is
stuff.
It's not the super high proof that you see nowadays, that's around 120-ish. This is about a 101, 102 proof. No, 103, I think it is. Yeah. So it's a little bit right there in the mid-range of proof. But as always with the Four Roses, you can't go wrong. It's just, wonderful flavor, wonderful finish. It's just one of those ones that it's like a comfort bourbon.
This is Four Roses or 1792? Yeah.
Oh, did I say 17? I meant Four Roses. Sorry.
I was going to say.
I said 1792.
I went somewhere totally that it's not supposed to, because you had 1792 on your calendar.
I did. I almost got that one. I'm sorry. It's been a long couple of days.
I understand. That's right.
Yeah.
Either is a good.
Either's a good. I did mean Four Roses. I apologize.
You've had that single barrel for a while, I think, haven't you?
Since last year.
I was
last
going to
Christmas.
say, we haven't polished
my
it off
pastor
yet.
got it for me.
Yeah.
Well, we've been trying so many different
I
bourbons.
know, that's right. We have.
And we don't
blossomed.
come to each location 4 times a year anymore.
Right.
So it doesn't get drank as fast
More
as
like 2 or 3,
yeah.
So.
But it is. It's like a comfort bourbon. It
Oh,
really
that's
is.
real put, yeah.
Because it's just one of those ones that you can just pop off a little bit and just have a nice, good, warm feeling. And
Kind of a chili and cornbread bourbon.
kinda, yeah.
Ooh, aren't
yeah,
we
yeah.
good? Image, sir. Taste and
You have
smell.
You have to paint a picture for the listener.
Yes,
That's
say,
right.
this guy has
That's
learned how to write. That's right. He's in the
country
process.
ham and homemade biscuits, baby.
That's right.
Oh, that too, yes.
Or as Hank Jr. would say, cornbread and iced tea.
Or 2 college co-eds.
And there we went again.
there we
Why not 3?
Go for it.
Okay.
Anyways,
You guys are getting into James T. Kirk territory there.
so that was
That's got
1792.
nothing on us.
Who's next? Martin?
So I poured some of your Yellowstone Select, which is
yes.
a huge favorite.
Yes.
Just
That bottle just got opened recently, so
nice and warm and kind of chocolatey to me.
Is that the sign bottle?
no, I'm saving that for book events.
This is the black label, not the white label.
No, this is the white.
The white
one.
label.
This is
yeah,
white.
White label, yeah.
Yeah, I
Which
just
is-
got the regular white label.
Right, yeah, which is
Yellowstone Select.
that's one of my go-tos.
That's about a $38.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
love that.
It's
Yellowstone.
outstanding.
To me, that's I gifted to a priest friend of mine. He had I get together at his place, his rectory from time to time, different from your pastor, mind you, and. I had given him a bottle of Basil Hayden, and he said, "Why don't you stay for a bourbon afterwards?" I said, "Sure." And he poured the last, but he looked at it and says, "I'm so sorry, he didn't have but maybe a teaspoon left." So I bought him a bottle next time of the Yellowstone.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
See, that's to me, that's a very great gifting bourbon.
It is.
I recently gifted a bottle
Yeah.
as well to a departing friend.
Basil Hayden. I was at Kroger's last night. The list price for the regular bottle, not any of the new toasted and other stuff they've
Right.
been doing, was $49.99.
I was going to say it's gone up.
It was on sale for $31.99. I almost got another
That's
bottle.
about what we would pay for years. Was
For
around
years,
$30.
it was at 30 to
Yeah.
35.
Yeah.
But the retail has dropped or has jumped dramatically.
I know, and
Do
then
you get a friends and family discount at Kroger? Because you're there a whole lot.
I know. I've picked up quite a few bourbons lately.
But it is right around the corner, so
It is.
it's easy
Well,
for you to
it's a
get
great
to.
place for stuff that's on sale. It really
Right.
is.
They run quite a few bourbon sales.
Yes.
Well, now-
in
But
fact,
I'm about sailed out unless some really special stuff comes up.
Well,
So,
they have today. Later in the evening here, we're having the
4 to 8 p.m.
4 to 8 p.m. at Kroger's. A number of them. There's the Pappy raffle.
well, signing up for the raffle. Yeah.
yes.
And the raffle's for an opportunity to buy a bottle of Pappy's.
Yes.
yeah,
Or one of the
At retail price.
at retail price. Yeah. One of the Van Winkles, not necessarily Pappy's.
Which
Some
the
of them are-
highest retail price on that batch of 5 or 6 different Pappy products is $3.99.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is that may sound high to some that doesn't price these more rare bourbons. That is cheap.
That's a
That is, yeah.
That's the
For that-
23-year-old, I believe.
It was.
$9.99.
Yes.
And because the secondary market's $1,500 a bottle sometimes.
Oh,
Oh, more
if
than
you
that.
can
way
find
more
it.
than that. Yeah.
if you can find it.
Yeah.
Well, I was surprised that the 26-year-old is only $1.99.
I noticed that.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, I thought that was very strange because usually, I mean, just the economics because you're going to get less
Yeah.
bourbon out of every barrel
Yeah.
would price that up. But who knows? It could be a lower proof too, so they
No,
might.
it wasn't. It was 120.
Wow.
I didn't look and see what the proof was on all of them. So
So in your frequent sojourns to the Kroger liquor store, keep an eye out for that I.W. Harper.
I have never seen it there, but because I did not recognize the bottle, but I will do that. Oh, meant to tell you, Martin, I had a glass of Eagle Rare on Thursday.
Oh
Excellent.
goodness, that's great
good
stuff.
too.
Our work Christmas party was at the Vernon Lanes, the bowling alley in Butchertown.
Wow. Okay.
And we had drink tickets, so I was like, "Oh, they've got a nice selection of bourbon." So I'm looking, and I saw they had the Monks Road 5th District, almost had that, and then I saw the Eagle Rare. I was like, I want that.
Absolutely.
It was a fine.
It is.
Yeah, that's
It's-
good stuff.
That's right. First bourbon
Smooth.
first bourbon Cajun and I ever drank, I believe, was Eagle Rare because we were like 12.
Well, with you.
Well, yeah.
Both my grandfathers had already ruined me of any innocence.
I was going to say,
before
I don't
come along.
because I mean, we were freaking 12 and 11 years old, so I mean, you couldn't have had that many more than before that. But
I don't know.
then again, you are who you are, Cajun.
Well, Mom's granddaddy there worked for National Distillers, and the other one took and brewed his own wine and beer, too. So
That's true.
Yeah.
make that what you want with that.
That's right.
So anyways, I just wanted to let Martin know that because I know he's been dying to get some
Yeah,
Eagle
I'd
Rare.
like to get a hold of some Eagle Rare. And,
I got a
this-
bottle.
And this I.W. Harper.
Yeah, and you
So-
need, we haven't told the story about the I.W. Harper when we went to Sherwood. We haven't talked to
The
him.
Sherwood. So,
You posted, Robert posted on that.
yes.
I did.
Yeah.
So,
First
yes.
post in 5 months.
That's right, yeah.
So, listeners, please hit to snakesnodders.com. Francis and I both owe a post regarding
Yeah, it's coming.
the event.
It's coming.
So, I want to try and get that today myself. But the Sherwood, the folks who are running it, not who own the building, but who are running the bar restaurant,
Right.
lost their lease. And
It wasn't a loss. It was like there was more to it than that.
Yeah,
It was
there is.
Reading
Well,
through their Facebook post, it was like we decided to step back. So not sure what happened.
because they're running two places.
I
at the
will
same
be
time.
finding out details next
I was going to
week
say you please do
Yeah.
so.
from the family of the people that own the Sherwood.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, I don't know if you heard my pastor. I talked to him about it because he was down there for 6 years, and he believes it was the stubbornness of the owners of the building. So we'll see. I'd be interested to hear what you have to say. He didn't have a whole lot of details, but
But anyway,
it was-
the
I won't disagree that family has some stubbornness.
yeah,
They are my relatives, so please.
And my neighbors.
That's
Yeah.
right. Exactly.
the Sherwood Inn in lovely New Haven, Kentucky. Nelson
we've mentioned it
County.
many times on the show.
So
Absolutely. Right next to the Railway Museum.
Yes.
Literally, they have a huge train engine next to the building, which
Yeah,
we stepped past on our way out.
Yeah. So the Sherwood's a long time.
1850s or 60s is when the building was built.
Woodwork around the bar is astonishing.
It is.
Flooring.
Well, that is not original to the original bar either. That was brought in about 100 years ago or so in the early turn of the century, I believe Bucks told us one night.
I
It
probably
originally came out of a French bar and was shipped over here.
did not remember that.
Well,
That's
I mean,
right.
it would cost you $100,000 to have it made now.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean, it's
easily.
unreal.
Easily.
yeah, it is
Unreal.
beautiful, strong,
Beautiful.
and yeah.
And it's just in this little tiny hole in the wall place in New Haven.
It's much
And
bigger than you think. The bar itself is very tiny.
very small.
But-
but they've added on that kind of the seating for a restaurant area.
Well, I think they've just expanded into what was because remember
Yes.
it's the Sherwood Inn, so it was a hotel.
That's
at one
correct.
point.
Yeah, that's what it
Yeah.
was. It was.
Yes. So they've just
and,
expanded into
we
the
were in the
natural part of the
back
building.
room, which usually was done for private parties and things
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
My grandmother's 80th
Yeah.
birthday was there. That sort of thing.
Yeah, it just sort of depends on who's got the lease at the time, what they're planning to do, if they're serving
Well, it was
food
the
and-
owners ran it while Mr. Errol Johnson was the owner for as long as I can remember. World War II veteran. He would tend the bar during the day down there, and until he passed away. I guess what's it? 10 years ago. It's probably not that
Maybe
long.
a little long.
Maybe
somewhere
longer than
around
that. But I mean, he was. I mean, he was
less than
well.
15 anyway.
Yeah, he was well into his 90s, and they ran it. The family ran it themselves. For a long, long time. That's when we were going.
I was back in the
Oh, yeah.
area when he
Yeah.
passed away, so somewhere around 2012 and up.
That sounds about right. Yeah, because he was slightly younger than my grandmother, but just barely because they died around the same time. She was 100.
Yeah.
And it was, and the family there, the children have continued it. One of which is married. One of my aunts married into that, and I guess they decided
Almost
they
every
couldn't.
story he tells about something that happens in New Haven, one of his aunt's cousins, brothers,
Absolutely, it's just a thing.
just married in. Yeah, so
There's only a freaking 1,000 people in the daggone town. Of course you're related.
and he's rated like 900 of them.
Absolutely, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a thing.
Well,
So-
his family thicket
That's true. Well,
is
yeah, but
definitely Kentucky.
that's absolutely yeah. He'll be Catholic family.
Yeah, but it's a wonderful little place. I mean, it was the only bar I've ever been into where the History Channel was on the television when we went in.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
That's
So
been back in the
that's
day.
been a long time ago.
Yeah.
That was
They-
yes.
But it's complicated. It's complicated. But they're getting out of their lease, and they were having kind of a close down night, dollar beer, And
it was packed.
It was
packed.
It was wonderful
That's right.
and packed.
Yeah.
And somebody was singing and playing guitar.
I was unable to make it. I was in New Orleans down.
I know.
He
It
was
was
having
kind
a
of a
real
bummer
party.
because it was
real
really
party.
Yeah.
But it was great, and Francis ran into people he's known for
And
50
related to.
years. Yeah,
Yeah. Since one of them I went to first grade with.
first grade, So that and so we had a great time, and we tried some bourbons, and
Yes, one of them bought a round for us. which
Absolutely,
was
my buddy
real-
Danny, who I went
Yes.
to school, who I went second grade and beyond with, he, I hadn't seen him in a while, and he said, he's even retired now. I mean, he's done very, very well for himself. And he says, "You go up to the bar, take your buddies, and it's on me, whatever you want." And I said, "Okay, that's great." It was really a wonderful, wonderful gesture to do that. So I said, "Come on, guys, let's go here." And each of us picked what we wanted, and they have a
you
large
had,
selection. I had the
you had Old Forester 1920, which
That's
we've
right.
had on the show, is outstanding.
absolutely, it's one of my
Absolutely,
favorites, one of my
yes.
go-tos.
So Robert had some.
I had the
Monks
5th
Road,
District Months
Monks
Road.
Road, that's what I thought.
which is
yeah.
a local. I mean,
Very
that's,
local, yeah.
That's very local. That's log
It's in
still.
Cajun's backyard.
That's Wally Dan.
Yes, it is.
And I saw a bottle of the I.W. Harper, which we've never tried. That's I can't pronounce this, but the Wetzel Stiller
Wetzel Stellar. Yeah,
folks.
something, yeah.
And it's supposed to be 15 years old. So I said, yes, I gotta have
I'm glad
some
you
of
had
that.
a good eye because they had it's a huge swath of stuff. Up
Oh,
there.
yeah, it was-
you kind of had to look like to find what do you
Oh
really
yeah,
want.
yeah. It's behind the bar up on the shelves, and there was just tons of stuff. And I've been dying to try it for a while, and it's really good.
Yeah,
We've
so
got to get a bottle. It had
It's
this
coming, I'm sure. And
wonderful,
you'll
like
find it.
caramel, vanilla, almost like a chocolate covered cherry or caramel covered
Our
cherry.
master
flavor.
taster here, yeah.
And it was super good. So we're gonna get a hold of some of it, and I want to have Cajun taste it as well and see what he thinks about it. But
Yeah.
it was good. It was very consistent pour all the way through the glass too. That I really liked.
I was. I mean,
It was a great
spoken
night.
well
It
of-
really
yeah.
was. It was a good send off.
Indeed, it was. And hopefully they'll be back in some other fashion or form. But
sure
The
they
family
will.
still has the Rick House restaurant, so it's not like they've.
yeah, those who ran it because we were
Yes.
talking to the waitress. We ate in the restaurant side, and we said, "Sorry, this is the end." She goes, "Oh," because we had heard the Rick House was closing too. She goes, "Oh no, we're good. Come over to Bardstown, and you'll see us all over there." I said, "Okay, well."
And the
consider it
Rick
done.
House is
Underneath Spalding Hall.
yes, it's in the
right
basement of
behind
Spalding Hall.
the Basilica there. Yeah,
and that's right where the Bourbon Fest was.
that's right. Yeah, we
It's
were right
there.
Up, we were
Yeah.
right up against it. Yeah,
And
yeah.
the Getty Museum is up above Whiskey.
So
Whiskey
listeners-
Museum's up in the top.
Yeah,
of
if you
the
know
building.
Bardstown at
Take
all,
a trip
it's
to
not hard.
Bardstown and find the Rick House, and
Yep.
Absolutely,
because
yeah.
it's good food.
Good food, no question.
I love the ham sandwich you had. It was what was the name of it again?
It's a Howard ham sandwich. It was named after Paul Howard's restaurant, which was it wasn't a restaurant; it was a general store, literally across the street.
Yeah.
which I used to go to. In fact, my buddy Danny that bought us the beer, it was his grandfather that owned it, Paul Howard.
Yeah.
So and you could go
Yes,
in.
Howard's. That's one of your family names.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and you could go in there, and literally it was a general store. You could buy anything you wanted to in there, but they had a little.
What they would have called dry goods store in the day.
That's right,
Yeah.
but they had a little deli. And it was very, very little, but they would make some amazing ham sandwiches, and everybody in the town
And I mean,
would know about them.
this is not some gourmet thing. I mean, this was
White bread,
ham sandwiches,
Sliced
lettuce,
ham, lettuce, tomato, and onion. That's it.
Yeah.
Mayo. Yeah,
Man, it
I
looks
mean, I had a
super
patty meal,
good.
but it was fantastic. You know?
yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's a Bardstown thing. I mean,
Yeah.
we didn't have anything like that in New Haven. Patty melts. That's a San Francisco silly thing. You know, we don't do that crap down here. Ham sandwich, daggone it.
So, what did you pour, Francis?
Fishes, flame broiled ham.
That's
was
right.
the ham used in the sandwich.
That's right. Yeah, flame
Shred the lettuce.
That's correct. It was shredded lettuce. It had to be that.
Fresh tomatoes locally when in season.
Oh yeah,
right.
Sweet pickles, not dill pickles, was on it.
yeah.
I had them hold the pickles. I don't like pickles, but yeah.
Yeah, you. And a Kraft mayo, if y'all want to be exact, on white bread.
Absolutely. White bread, like rainbow white bread or sunbeam. Or
Yeah,
one of
Wonder
those.
Bread. Yeah, I mean,
Wonder Bread.
Paul and his daughter used to make about 100 sandwiches or more in the morning before lunchtime rolled around, and everybody in the surrounding area
that-
would
that
come in
Janice?
from the fields. Janice.
See, that's Danny's mom.
Everybody in the fields and working
Yeah.
in the local farms and so
His
forth
mom
would
worked
come
there.
through there and
And
grab a sandwich and a
He
drink.
grew up like 3 doors up. So literally at the stoplight, his house was 2 doors down from that. So it was it was a
Paul
good time.
Howard ham sandwich.
Paul
It
Howard.
was stacked high.
It was. It was
good.
So, Francis, what are you drinking?
Let's keep
Let's
on
move
going.
on
Yeah,
here.
that's right.
We've been on this bourbon break for a long time.
Well, we do that sometimes, but I twisted Robert's arm because
for you.
That's because we had talked about Booker's earlier before Martin, you were here.
Yes.
And he said, I got a bottle around here somewhere. I says, break it out. And he had cracked it. I wouldn't ask him to crack it if he hadn't.
I do not have room. Actually, I had already cracked it.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
that's when I opened when the book went live.
That's exactly right, and that's kind of what I was wanting to make sure
yes.
to celebrate that with you. And I remember you'd mentioned that, and I said, "Where's that Booker's?"
Booker's is really hard to get.
That you cracked. Just to
there's
celebrate
still 5 bottles at the Kroger's.
Where? Which Kroger?
Right around the corner.
They're all gone at Mount Washington Kroger.
5 bottles.
How much? What's the retail on them?
Well, the retail is $115, I think, $110 or $115. Because I went to see, is it still on sale?
Yeah.
And the sale tag is no longer on there.
All right, but
because I got it for $90.
I say, but you can still get it, which is
yes, you can still get it.
That's hard to get, and I was delighted. Of course, Robert said yes, and dropped it in with a full thing of ice. He poured it over to cover the ice, and it's bloomed here. I've been I'm drinking. I've been not sipping, but drinking, and it never disappoints.
No,
it never disappoints. It always has that. I cannot give the articulation like Martin would have given.
It's like a well-aged. It's made.
It's a high proof.
It's made to be super mellow.
It very much so.
Yes.
It's got a nice little sting to it in the best.
It'll curl your nose hairs.
But it's fully bloomed with the ice is long melted, but it's still cold.
Yeah.
So you've got all that amazing flavor. It stays in the mouth, a little bit to the nose, a little bit to the chin.
But you do get a nice hug there at the end.
Yeah,
it's
that's
a long lasting experience.
It is one of our favorite bourbons. It really
absolutely.
is one of the very,
absolutely.
very best. And I was because I wanted to celebrate Robert's book that he just got published. So we were
and the reason that and a couple other things are downstairs is I don't have room up here.
Yeah,
and you need a liquor cabinet.
I
sir.
do. Well, looks like Cajun might be hooking me up here.
See, there you go. You absolutely all true Renaissance men of affairs need a liquor cabinet, or a bar,
or a bar,
because Martin which is essentially the same thing. It's just a little different.
Fancier. Yeah.
The great thing about the bar is not having it. It's the chance to serve my friends.
Of course, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the wonderful
because
thing.
Bourbon should be shared.
I can stay behind the bar.
Notice you emphasize serve and not service.
Well,
I said I can. What would you like to have? And I can pour my friends a drink.
yes,
right.
I've noticed you have been increasing the quantity of types quite a bit.
Yeah, expanded. I won a little small auction at the track at a kind of a college day for the oldest. They have kind of a thing at the track. And,
yes.
And they have sort of these little auctions that you can win. And I won 5 bottles of bourbon in an auction. And so those are there. And then on a trip to Bardstown, I was able to procure a bottle of Baker's 7.
Oh, yes.
7-year-old. So I'm looking
We have
forward.
not done Baker's yet.
No, we have not done
we have
Baker's.
Cajun, you have a bottle.
I have a
Yeah, he
bottle.
has a bottle
Have we
as well.
cracked it? Have you cracked it? No. Okay, so we're
No.
kind of waiting, maybe for March when we go back to your place.
Well,
Well,
We're
There's
nice.
a lot of possibilities by the time March rolls around.
That's right.
Yeah.
but I plan on cracking in February when we record at Studio M.
That's true.
Oh, good.
I think in
Good.
February.
Yeah.
So that's why it's being saved is to set that aside for the recording session.
Yeah, there are a few that I have that are unopened. Cajun asked if somebody asked if it was the black label of the Yellowstone. That's being saved for.
Yeah, me, yeah.
Or it was you
Yeah,
asked
me,
that.
yeah.
That's being saved. I've got a Knob Creek in there that's 120 proof, 10-year-old.
Wow,
I'm
yeah.
saving as well.
That's one we've not featured much.
No,
And
it's
we
been a while
should,
since we've
yeah,
talked
yeah.
about that.
Yeah, and I've got a town branch that we've not opened that I'm also might save until
We've done that when you're the only one that's ever bought town.
I don't think we've.
We've never done it on the show.
Yeah, we've
This
never
is
done
the
it on the
first
show.
bottle we've had. So I've got
You
2.
have a town branch, don't you?
He has Long Branch, which is
Maybe that's what I'm
which
thinking.
is the
That's
Magic
Wild
Icona
Turkey,
had.
Long
And I think that bottle's empty now.
Yeah, we've
What?
done.
Dang on.
That was very good.
I know
Yeah.
that's one of my favorites. I really enjoy.
That's
it.
the Matthew McConaughey sponsored line. Well, it used to be sponsored by him. I don't think it is anymore currently.
Oh,
Yes,
He helped develop that
That's
line.
right. Yeah, because some bottles have both signatures, but my bottle only had the
distiller.
the distiller signature, Eddie Russell.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've had Long Branch, but we've not had Town Branch, which is from Lexington, and we've not had Baker's 7.
Well,
And so I'm saving both of those.
Keep on a rolling.
yes. So yes, glad you enjoyed that.
Very much. Thank you for allowing. And,
Not a problem.
And to
And
raise
it's not
your
that it's
glass.
necessarily stuff is off limits. Just I just don't have space to have everything out all at once.
Well, it's in the wooden box too. That takes up a lot of space. So
Exactly.
you got to have it elsewhere.
Exactly.
Cajun, what did you have, man?
I went with the Monk's Road single barrel, which is nice, excellent. Drinking it neat, actually, here.
wow.
Slowly
It is
this
one that is
morning,
good
sipping,
neat.
And it is good neat once you get past that first sip or so and let it settle in and open up.
Yep.
It's got a nice, good, strong caramel, oaky flavor to it that makes you just kind of sit back and relax. And speaking of finds, I found where your picture's taken at in the back of the book.
Woodford.
Woodford, yeah. I found one. Or was it? No. Which one did I find now? I done forgot. The 18-year-old bottle.
I think that.
Is it a Woodford product?
Yeah, I think that is. Yeah.
No, it's not. It's Heaven Hill product.
Okay.
Oh,
Because Woodford has a extra aged. It's a unique looking little bottle. It's $140.
You got one of the 9 or the 12-year-old bottles.
Is it the Knob Creek stuff?
no, that's Beam.
No.
It's not like JBW.
No, Beam, yeah.
It's Beam's got the
Beam.
Beam has the.
I got so many bottles I can't keep
Yeah, I don't
track
think
of
I've got a
anymore.
9 or a 12-year-old
I was going to say
Beam
Knob
product.
Creek and Basil Hayden.
Dang it.
Those are all Beam products.
Yeah.
Booker's is a Beam product
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
And Baker's is as well.
I can see the
Baker's-
bottles as clear as I can in my mind. I know it's not the Woodford. They're over here. This one's sitting over
It's
there.
not the Wellers. That's a different one too.
No, that's a
Not
different
the
one, too.
Willets,
Because I've got the 9, the 12, and I found a bottle with the 18 when it came out.
Oh, wow.
That was Knob Creek. Because I remember you
Knob
sent us
Creek
a
18.
picture of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
yeah,
Knob
yeah,
Creek,
Knob
which we
Creek,
were
yeah,
just
the
talking
Knob
about.
Creek
Yeah.
18.
Yes.
And I should have bought 2 of them when I came across it for $160.
Wow, that's
Then I went uptown and saw it for $200 right up there at Evergreen.
Yeah.
I was going to say, yeah, that's one to crack for special occasion because
Now, I have had a drink of that. Me and my uncle, when we went out and toured out there at Beam, we went over to the bar to eat, and they actually had a bottle of 18 in the bar over there, which I got a shot of to give it a try. So it was very, very good.
well, yeah.
I mean, for $160 for 18-year-olds, you can't.
That is pretty good. Yeah. That Woodford that they've got. I don't know if it's an 18, but it's a double digit aged years, and it's $140 up at Kroger's. 'Cause I've been looking for it. I was like, that is beyond my price point right now.
Right.
But that's one that I've been wanting to try because it's one of those ones, it's already a great profile.
Yeah.
And
It's
when
one
you
we're very familiar with.
and aging it extra, and it's a higher proof, that promises to be a really good drink.
Oh wow.
So you picked nothing to smell, right?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. So, but you will have when we do the
That's
tasting.
not what's down if you want to give
Yeah.
a smell on the
Nice and neat.
single barrel amongst road
We're
there.
sounding
So, yeah, that should be-
so much more.
Hoity-toity.
Yeah, we're treading on bourbon snob territory.
Well,
but
We're the Thurston Howells of bourbon, guys.
Yeah.
we've always been kind of snobby in that
mellow.
whole, Kentucky
Yes, it is.
only and what have you.
Yeah,
But
it's-
since hanging out with Cajun, we have definitely upped our game in what
Yeah.
we are
Oh,
buying.
blame your boozing on me. Well, I guess it is kind of appropriate. Never mind.
Well, you do have the largest selection. So
Well, and
but we will always defend the egalitarian approach to bourbon. though.
absolutely.
If you want to spend $20 on bourbon, do it. You will
'Cause you
still
can find some good ones.
stuff.
So we don't hate on any bourbon. We don't.
Yeah, you do.
no,
Trader
Well,
Joe's.
that's right.
Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's. That's
Trader
right.
Joe's.
Only bourbon we hate on, and that's just kind of like to make sure that it's always 99.9 and never 100%.
Exactly. Nothing should ever be unanimous.
That's right. So that's kind of.
I mean,
we've
there are
done that.
ones we're not huge fans of. The Bullet was kind of we felt like was a one noter.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Bullet. It's the Buffalo Trace you didn't like.
I think it tastes like toothpaste.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the one that you didn't like.
But
And that's
occasionally I felt the Bullet was kind of a one note, sort of one flavor. No
I was a little
complexity.
disappointed with the Blantons because I thought it was a little
Yes, you
flat.
thot it was a little bit.
Okay,
Less,
so
Yeah, the flavor just seemed to disappear in just a little bit of ice, a little bit of water. And I've been reading even in that Bourbon Bible book that you have that I picked a copy of. It mentioned the same thing. It's a common complaint about the Blantons is that it tends to flatten out very quickly, and that it's not a huge.
Well, not everything needs water ice added either. Like
Right.
I say, the single barrel Monk's Road, I think, is perfectly fine.
Well,
that-
but I
that's
mean,
true.
I
Some
think
of
the
them.
complaint was it's not even as rich a profile as some of the other bourbons, which is
Of course,
fine.
now there is 5 or 6 bottles in that line of Blantons too.
True.
They release every year. I mean,
True.
that are a little bit. They're not the same.
No, they're not exactly the same.
well,
They're
every
just like
batch is
any other.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, every batch is different.
So it's hard to say which one you get into. I mean,
Right. And that's the beauty of
yeah.
of bourbon is that
Infinite complexity.
even if you get the same brand, the same, same bottle, just different different times of the year. You can get a different. Now, some are very scientific about how they age and
they say
distill
bottle to bottle to
Yeah.
bottle.
So
Four
like
Roses is a prime example of keeping
I was going to say Woodford as well.
exact recipes and so forth.
Yeah, and there's
keep
something to
the
be said for
flavor
that
the same.
because people do have expectations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and
If you want
Woodford's
repeat
one
cu-
because
if
it's
you want repeat
very
customers.
popular. It's got a very on the Derby thing. But I mean since they have a climate controlled rickhouse,
200
you're going to get a
flavor
very
notes,
similar barrel to barrel taste out of them, which is fine. I like consistency too.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, the Big Mac's going to taste the same no matter where you go. That's something that
Like a Four Roses, only one story high on their rick houses. They
right.
spread
Yes,
out, and their
that's-
rick house
that
is
is
a full
something that
acre
people
in
want.
size at one story, and that keeps them along the same
Now,
lines.
that's
Right.
the one thing we have plenty of in Kentucky is plenty of open land.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, now I don't know.
I know,
if I
it's
totally
getting-
agree
it's
with that
getting
statement,
lower and lower all the
unless
time.
you're a damn mountain goat in some places.
Well,
That is true. Yes.
in our area, in our central Kentucky area.
Yes,
I
because
mean,
we are in the Ohio Valley.
Yeah,
That's right.
there's-
Yeah, and
there's
because
still some room.
because Heaven Hill, which is on the southeast side of Bardstown, bought as you go out on Bardstown Road, an enormous amount of warehouse space on the northern side, way away from the city, actually, for their warehouse space because they just didn't have enough room. So they took
Right.
open land after the road was straightened and they went through. It's right there. So
Well,
it's
you know
very,
what?
very
That's
convenient.
that's a deliberate choice as far as the quality because
That's right.
if you are in the city,
Mm-hmm.
the city, including all of the noxious fumes from cars, and that's going to affect because that's part of the air and the environment.
That's right.
That's going to have an effect. I would love to see if anybody's done any kind of studies on the effect of having a rick house in the city
Yeah.
as opposed to out in the country.
Right.
Because I started thinking about that
Even
a while
their
back.
city rick houses aren't really city, and in fairness, Bardstown's only got 35.
Well, Barton's would fall on the city.
Martins
with
would
several
absolutely.
rick
It is
houses.
right because it is right
Yeah, plenty
there.
of rick houses here in town, and it
Yeah.
That's correct. In Louisville, we have quite a few, especially over along 7th Street.
7th Street,
That's
yeah.
right. That's just
a lot of those are abandoned, unfortunately.
right. But Brown Foreman does a lot of their stuff downtown. Angels of Envy
Yes.
is downtown. There's a lot of this stuff that's come up.
They're doing a big expansion.
Yeah.
Yes, I heard that, and in fact, that's one of the things that Mrs. Francis is wanting to do with all of our children over the holidays is do an Angels Envy tour.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
Good,
Believe
good.
it or not, we don't. I mean, that's her favorite because you remember we got in trouble one time for finishing a bottle.
Yes,
early
yes.
on. But we don't have any currently for
No.
some strange and
You
odd
didn't
reason.
necessarily get in trouble for finishing. You got in trouble for not replacing it.
Well, yeah,
You didn't
because
plan well on that one. See,
Well,
you got to make a plan.
God, you sound like her.
Speaking of plans,
Yes.
Francis,
Oh, yes. Yes. So let me tell you another drink. Yes.
yes.
It's
We are at an hour and 12 minutes, so we need to
for
wrap
God's
this
sakes.
up. Well, Hoopajoobs, we always go a little long,
That's
so
true.
we're
Yes,
good on
this
that.
is a
So
Hoopajoob.
so lay it on us, man.
Yeah,
What,
so
what's
lay it
your
on us.
resolution?
lay it
let's-
upon me.
What's your goals?
I mean, I'm kind of one of those guys that's multi-focused, and it's just the way I think. I'm not if I can't go with one thing. I need like 6 things that I can kind of work for, and I might hit one of them. I mean, I have a writing.
Maybe if you had 3, you'd hit all 3.
To be honest, if I have 6, I'll hit 2, 3, something like that. I'm hoping
Yeah,
so.
it's all right. I can see
Well,
this.
we are Renaissance men. We are
Yes,
capable
yes.
of these sort of things.
So-
I have a writing goal, as you all know. We've been very good. I mean, the first book is done. The second book is done. I have a February deadline that I'm going to turn in to the publisher that I'm talking with. That you guys know
Right.
about.
No contract yet,
No,
but
that's
we
right.
have high hopes because
Well,
as far as you've gotten,
That's
we
right.
have high
Well,
hopes.
and their conversations.
They're
back-
engaged with.
They're engaged
yes.
with me. They're very, as we've talked about. They want me to get the first book edited according to the way they want to do it, and get it to them. And as they said, the goal is to get published. I'm very confident in them. Like I said, second book is done. I'm going through an edit right now. I'll have it to them with all what they want by February. My goal is to have a contract because these things take a while.
Right.
To say, okay, we're going to get this done. We're going to commit to this one. We'll also commit to the second one because I'm hoping because it's done that I can make that happen.
Oh, I think so.
I think so too. And I want to have a really good start on that third book that I'm constantly thinking about by the end of the year. So those are pretty reasonable expectations and goals that I'm hoping for on that.
To quote Uhura, all my hopes.
Thank you. Well, you guys, we will have
Very nice. Good
Well,
Star Trek
very
3
good.
reference.
That's very good. That's right. Yeah, you did the Star Trek reference. I didn't do that. That's very good. But no, my intention is that when the reality is done and say yes, we're going to do this, that we'll all gather together and crack that Hemingway bottle that I bought at the
Bourbon Fest, yes.
Bourbon Fest.
Signed Hemingway.
Signed Hemingway bottle. That's the thing that we're going to do. So
Rye.
yes, it is rye. That is correct. So
But you know what? That was a good ride.
It was a good rye.
That's
actually.
right. So I mean, I know you guys normally not rye folks, but you'll help me crack it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, absolutely.
we won't say necessarily we was not rye folks before we started
These
tasting
tacos
some of these bitter ryes that's coming out.
I
on the
would
market.
submit
Yes.
you, Cajun, were more reasonable when it comes to rye. These two guys here less so.
Well, it's just for me. It's not that the ryes were necessarily
not bad. It's just
bad or that I didn't like. It's just that I do prefer the bourbon.
Sure.
Because I like the sweeter drinks.
Yeah.
So the rye just, and as we've talked about before, rye, if you're going to have different bourbons or different drinks and you have a high rye drink, it colors everything that comes after.
it is a unique experience. And
Yeah.
it's just, and you just kind of have to. I mean, in my opinion, be prepared for it. And it's not
Exactly.
It's not
If you know that's what's going to happen, you plan accordingly.
yeah, and you're fine.
That's right. Take the Russian approach.
That's right. Exactly. But
And realistically, unless you're doing flight tastings or something, you're not mixing and matching
Right.
wheats and ryes and stuff. You're either pretty much on one or the other.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
exactly. So that's kind of my writing goal. That's my big goal. My personal goal is, and Mrs. Francis and I have talked a lot about this. We need to devote more time to our relationship and our marriage. 33 years in, the job that I have and the ministries that I do not lend itself well to us being together much.
Yes.
And
Which is ironic
And Robert,
considering
you know that, yeah.
not only the fact that it is ministry, but the particular ministry in your job that you do, which is family ministries.
That's right. The two are married together, and no pun intended. And it just has its own unique flavor, and that requires more deliberate action. So
It does. And you're an empty nester now.
that is correct.
Except
so
for the dog.
It has advantages. So why not lean into this? So that's my pledge. And I know Mrs. Francis doesn't listen, but I'm going to the podcast. She does.
Yeah.
Let me make sure I get
She
that
doesn't
right.
listen to you either. But
Well, maybe not. But,
except by choice.
Because if you didn't clarify, this would be the one episode she would listen
Oh,
to. Yes.
absolutely. That's right. Of course, it'd probably be the dumbass that I might be. I'd be listening to it in the car with her, and she'd hear this. But no, I love you, dear. I love you, dear. Okay, let's play this out. And my intention is to be more deliberate with her
Yes.
Neat. Very
excellent,
neat. Very
excellent.
neat.
in that
Yeah.
thing.
Speaking of that, Mrs. Martin and I used to work in the same building.
Sorry, she just recently
She
changed
just
jobs.
recently,
Which has its own weirdness, I'm sure.
I know, but I found it really enjoyable, and finding that I miss having her in the building already.
Yeah, and there's some truth to that. And I don't,
Suck up.
I don't know if I told you guys this, but
She doesn't listen to the
and
podcast
you all,
either.
And you all have known Mrs. Francis
All right.
for as long as I've known her, just about. And we've recently discovered that she is highly ADHD. And of course, you guys will probably say, "Well, duh," but that once you diagnose that and understand that,
That's half the battle.
so many things
Yeah,
become clearer.
you understand the
that's
correct
right.
distractions
It's
and the-
neurodivergence is what it's called,
Yes.
and she is extreme.
Oh, well, that's what it's called now.
Yeah, that's right. But and she's extreme in her words, and it's like, well, no wonder I don't think like everybody else does, and that's always been a big problem for her because she says people won't listen to her.
I told her that again for years ago for free.
Yes, but she listens
Because
to you.
I'm that way.
She listens to you less than she listens to him.
Oh, no.
So, I mean,
She thinks any word that comes out of Cajun's mouth is the absolute gospel. I don't
Oh,
know if
really?
I've not told you that, but no. If
all right,
you have-
so
That's way up.
Well,
on
I'm
the-
doing
you
the Virgin
so
So
you need
now
to
we're
start
on
giving
plan
her
for
certain
control.
advice for his benefit.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's kind of it. That's exactly
He hasn't
right.
bribed me that well.
Yeah, but
She
no.
thinks the rest of his friends are squirrels, but yeah. so
No. She has respect for all of you all. Absolutely. But she's
And
one,
obviously
especially.
poor taste.
Yeah.
Yes, obviously.
Oh no. Yeah. She thinks the Imperator is all that. I don't think I've told you that, but she
Oh.
thinks. Yeah, the last time when we recorded over at our place and you sat. and
Oh,
talked
so the
with her
rest
on
of them
that-
all just a bunch of monkeys trying to fuck a football.
No. But she thinks
And there's the F-bomb.
the Imperator.
Well, it is a
was
Hoopajoob.
right
It
up
is.
the top because you took time to talk to her. And because of her neurodivergence, she realizes that to have
that personal touch,
it can
matters.
It can be very difficult for a neurodivergent person to make themselves understood.
That's correct,
because they kind of zip off of this and zip
hard
off of that,
for me because
and it's hard to keep someone else's attention.
It is right, and I am notorious because I don't think that way. I think very differently.
Yeah,
and I have my own
focus. What are you trying to tell me?
Down to that.
Yeah,
and that's kind of my my resolution is to do better by her on that.
Yes, Snakes and Otters celebrates neurodivergence.
Yes, we do. Yes. That's correct, and it's one of those things that I can do.
A couple
better
of us fall into that category at least.
Well, and I think the modern age that we live in, to quote Jack Aubrey, really gives us more information on this sort of thing because, like I said, it's only recent that she's come to the understanding.
Yeah.
She's always been that way. And this goes back to the root of most all the differentiation that we have, why we can't communicate when we can't communicate. Is because she thinks differently than I do, and of course, that's the secret of every marriage since the beginning of time. I understand, and we can all agree with that in many ways, but our struggle is different.
Well,
and
men are from hell, women are from heaven. That whole
there's some of that.
There's a lot of women and men in general. Obviously, it's not true 100%.
There's a general difference to start with.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
the wiring, the tendencies, the core template is different.
That's right. There's a baseline that goes with that, but her situation is unique because of the neurodivergence.
Yeah, that just compounds it.
It compounds it, and I am not very good at. You'd think after 33 years I would get it, and I do get it to a certain degree, but I don't.
It's easier to deal with and see in others than it is in your own house.
And I step in it usually. It's one of those things where you're trying to be all innocent and trying to listen, but she requires absolute attention.
Yes,
and that's part of the system, and she didn't realize that. I didn't realize that.
Because we all understood that from discussions about, like your attempts to get in writing time and what have you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So we've understood that for years. So what was obvious to us was just flying right over your head.
Well, that's what it sounds like. That's great. Well, and yes, writing time.
It's a forest for the trees thing. I mean,
it is
right.
You're
writing
living
time
in it,
is
and
tough.
we aren't. Yeah.
Writing time can be tough because sitting there and writing it on the laptop on the MacBook in her presence is problematic in the extreme sometimes. Because
initially, though, that was a solution because I remember that was.
I'm at least present.
Right.
Yeah.
But now that's not enough.
But that's not enough.
Right.
It's because presence is more than simple physical presence.
Right. And you should know that from ministry.
Well, that is correct. That's correct.
Sometimes simple presence is, but
physician, heal thyself.
Yeah. I mean,
that is correct. Well, I will lay out bare my soul to you guys. Thank God for you all
and all 12 of our listeners.
That's right.
Well, I was going to say 20, but
that's right.
I think that me and Emperor has brought in at least a few more along with our presence.
Well, that's true. Yeah. Well, my brother Andre understands.
Don't forget the Amish.
That's
right. Yes, and the Amish. Yes,
right.
We are the number one podcast with.
But we can't get an exact number on that population area.
Yeah, that's tough.
Because it's just one of those things that we all have our crosses, and it's not a cross per se. It's just unique, and that's. I mean, not to belabor the point that I've belabored.
Really, not to. No. Okay.
What's that time?
I'm trying to wrap this damn thing up.
3 hours and
trying to land the daggone plane. Yes. That's my resolution for next year.
All right.
I mean,
all right, okay.
And a very laudable one.
I have multiple minor projects, of course. That's wonderful, and we all do. But that's what I want to do.
Any support
I dedicate
we can
my
lend you.
New Year.
So all your free time and devotion is going to the missus.
Yes.
We understand what you just said.
Okay. Well,
and we're going to let her know that's what you told us.
Robert.
I appreciate your support, gentlemen.
As always.
Robert, bring us home.
All right. So I've got a couple of things. One of the things that I have always struggled with is my habits. To me, habits are the foundation of everything that you want to do.
Yeah.
Because all success is built on a series of ever either increasing or ever more critical things that you repeat. All right, and a habit is just something you repeat always. Or at least do repeatedly.
And it's essentially neutral?
Well, no, the habits
can be good or bad.
Some habits are good, some habits are bad. Some habits are just whether you sleep on your left side or your right side, that's
Neutral,
a habit.
yeah.
That's a neutral habit.
And that can affect the way you wake up and start the day.
And
I
it
mean,
can.
literally,
Absolutely.
It
It
absolutely
can be a factor.
can. So one of the things that I'm currently working on, because I struggle with it, is getting these habits under control. So, because I know that my success, my ability to do the bigger things are predicated on certain other things.
Absolutely.
One is getting up at a consistent time early enough to get some work in on writing.
Right.
Because I found that it is harder for me to do it at night.
That works best for you then.
Yeah.
That's weird because you're a
Quiet
night owl.
morning when nobody else is moving, basically.
Yes.
Is that what? Because you're a night owl. You're always,
I am a night owl,
Yeah.
but I have found that during the week, especially, the weekend is different. But also, I can get mornings in on the weekend pretty well. But I like mornings when I like the time when nobody else is awake.
There's truth to that.
There's
truth
no
to that.
distractions.
There's no distractions. But the distraction-free time at night, it's to the point where I'm mentally exhausted by the time I get there.
And you will have interruptions too, just from everything else going on in the household at some point.
Exactly. Whether I've got a meeting at night, I got to go do a funeral or whatever. Morning, I don't have a funeral at 6 a.m.
Right,
There's not that same kind of thing.
But the missus may decide she needs something at 6 a.m., like a trip to Kroger's.
Not my missus.
Well, just
I
a
say your
general
missus is a
example.
late sleeper. Always
She is a
has.
late sleeper,
Mine
yes.
is completely.
No, I saw it saying 6 p.m.
Oh, 6 p.m. I'm sorry.
Evening,
Yes,
you
yes,
may
yes,
get
yes,
a
yes.
trip sent to get something from
I
the
might,
missus.
yes.
I actually got up while my wife was still asleep this morning. That never happens. Absolutely.
Yes, because she is
never.
an early riser for
Yeah,
work.
always
Yes,
has been
yes.
an early riser, but
Yes.
So
she stayed up later last night for some weird reason.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah. Me too. Generally, Mrs. Martin is up. She's getting her exercise. I'm so proud of her.
Yeah.
now,
I did too. I said I was going to bed at 9 last night, and it was 10 before I got there because I was finishing watching Frasier up 2023.
Well, we could talk a long time about
yes,
that
we
subject,
could. Yes,
but, I hope
but we're not going to.
But we're not going to.
Haven't seen the last one yet.
I have not either. I'm a couple of. I usually end up watching 2 or 3 episodes at a time. So I'm
Did last night.
yeah. So, anyways, that getting up at a consistent 6:30 is the current goal. I actually like to make it 6 o'clock. The problem is the damn dog, because as soon as he hears somebody moving around, it's time to get up and eat. And so
He eats in the morning?
oh yeah,
said,
he eats
no.
as soon as he gets up. He eats at 6:30 and at 4:30.
Yeah, that's about the same way ours is.
Ours doesn't eat till
I'm getting woke up by 6:30 at the latest to open the door to go out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he won't even. It's the first dog I've ever had that would eat first before he goes out to do his business. With rare exceptions.
Really?
Yeah,
Ours
yes.
only eats once, and it's in the evening. And that is one of the issues that I perhaps need to back off on, is because I won't take the dog out if she's there. And that's
Oh
kind of-
well, yeah. You
Ooh,
probably
yeah, you need to change your
Yeah,
habit at least
yeah.
a few
that'll get you some bonus points.
at least a
for
few
that.
sacrificial trips, especially on the weekend. Or
I
something.
will do it when I get home first. But other than that, it's her dog.
I
He
can
does
help you switch over to cats.
it. Oh God.
I've got kittens.
Oh sure. I don't know that
Cats are evil.
I don't know that
Emperor, are you peddling pussy?
Yes. yes.
Oh hell!
it was there. You absolutely had to use that. Absolutely had to use it.
I've been told I can't use that word.
But
Yes.
you're not me.
That was
and and Mrs. Francis already said I am the damn bomb. So hush.
That's right. Yeah.
I will.
Her word is law.
I will
is true.
concede. Yes.
that's
Yes,
right.
you got the short end of that stick.
Yeah, Francis told me I could
Much
not
like
use that
Mrs.
word.
Martin.
Well, you're right. You can't use it on the air.
Oh, dude, that's harsh.
But I'll sick.
I'm
Mrs.
sorry.
Morton
I'm sorry.
Francis on him. Morton, I'll sick Mrs. Francis on him.
All right.
Yeah, that's a word that is one of those rude, dirty old words that Mrs. Francis would absolutely go up the flagpole.
Yeah.
You don't like cuddly kittens?
Let's see. I know you're going to try.
Anyways,
About
so I'm not done yet
We're
here.
rabbit holing.
Yes,
Robin,
we're rabbit holing big time.
Robert here. Sorry.
So the habits.
Habits.
Getting up. When I get up when I want to, that time, I get in time to exercise, whether it be ride the exercise bike, hit the treadmill,
Okay.
and I can get the dog fed, and I can get an hour to an hour and a half of solid time to do stuff on projects I want to get done, whether it be writing, editing, working on the websites because I got some work that I needed to get done on those, whatever it is. And then I can get to work. And if I don't get, to me, it all starts with getting up at the proper time. Now, part of that is also I came to the realization it's the going to. What's even more important is going to bed at the proper time.
Yeah,
because you got to get enough sleep.
Well, that's right. Yeah, and of course you wear the mask religiously.
I do.
I'm going to do better with that. I don't always wear it like I should.
Yes.
Oh, I have to.
Yeah,
I should. And
I
believe
can't
me,
understand
Mrs.
how you don't.
Mrs.
honestly.
Well,
Once you get used to it, I can't.
it's hard.
10 years since I even
have
thought
to
about
toss
going
and
without it.
turn before I can get comfortable. Then I can put it on. It's usually
But
about
that's the thing. You're tossing and turning because you can't get to sleep properly.
You
And
sound
that's the
like-
mask.
You
on.
sound like Mrs. Francis. You're exactly right.
I mean, the one time I had to go without it, I had a hose break on a trip. I did not have a backup hose with me.
Oh, yeah.
And I realized exactly how much I was not going without mine.
there's a reason she loves you
duct
guys.
tape will
That's
not
why.
work to fix the hose.
Right.
Too many ridges.
Too many ridges.
Well, and I learned from you. You always have like 6 pieces in on hand.
I've
have
never
a
had
spare.
that happen.
You have a
but
spare of
on
everything.
Trip, yeah.
well,
that's
you
an
like
issue.
3 spares because trust me, the folks that provide that stuff, they're constantly calling. Buy more
Oh,
stuff.
yeah,
buy more
yeah.
stuff, buy more stuff.
If they will replace it with no cost out of your pocket, you get it.
Well,
That's
I don't think I told you guys this. My eldest daughter just got diagnosed with sleep apnea, so she's beginning to get that sort of thing done too.
Yeah.
Definitely runs in family.
It's a thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
so I'm Mrs. Robert is going for the sleep test sometime in the first
Really?
quarter.
Yeah.
Yes, finally.
Well,
Although she's been much better about it. She goes in fits and starts because there are times when I can't get to sleep at night. But like for
That's
quite a
what-
number of months now.
that's what's
it's
helped,
been quite
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But anyways, going to bed and getting a good night's sleep, that's where it starts. Taking care of all of those little things.
Yeah.
Like ideally, one of the habits I want to get into is Sunday night, just get everything I'm going to wear for the rest of the week set aside.
Yeah.
Take care of that little bit of time
Really?
every morning that it takes to get the clothes together. Because if you can just get up, get straight in the shower, or on the exercise bike or treadmill or whatever, take a walk, and have where all of that stuff is a decision that's already been made. Taking that, because there's this thing called decision fatigue. There is literally, basically, each person has an undefined, ever-changing, depending on the situation, maximum amount of decisions you can make in a day. Mm-hmm. That's what impacts my ability to write at night. Because I've used up all that mental energy.
oh yeah, that's
already.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I want to get that done. So getting those habits set up takes care of getting my weight back where it needs to be.
Yeah.
And it
Is it-
creates the time for writing.
Is it really
the
that
core.
holistic? Is it really that
It
close?
is.
See,
It
that's, I
is.
think that's the lesson we're hearing from all the discussions that we've had today, is that if you find that one red hot center, so to speak, and lean into it, everything possibly changes.
Now, you still have to have the discipline to use the time that's been
correct. I mean,
created.
that's right.
And
you know-
stuff will come up,
He needs to be disciplined.
Yes, I do. I need to be disciplined.
Oh, that's right.
Mrs. Robert and I are going to have a discussion about that later.
That's what Miss Cajun said to me last night.
That you need to be disciplined?
After
she-
I got out of the Santa suit.
I believe that.
Oh, God.
I believe
Oh, that's the night before. After.
Bad Santa, is that how it, that was a
bad-
movie, wasn't it? That was
Bad Santa too.
Yeah. But I
Of
think
course, it's
he
violent night out too now.
yeah, forget
But
that.
but I think he means naughty Santa.
I was going to say,
No, he's the Special Forces Santa.
Yes.
Takes revenge on the people breaking in the house, etc., and so forth. Something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
In
Bad
danger
Santa
of
was
father.
Billy Bob Thornton, wasn't
Yes.
it?
Bad Santa was. Bad
Yes.
Santa was
And that was hilarious.
And let's just lay it out there, and Lauren Graham too.
Yes.
Yeah.
'Cause I know that all of us
So-
are huge Lauren Graham fans. That's
So
correct. Am I
after
right?
after the habits,
Yeah.
that's the main thing. But as far as the big thing, come August 1st, I want to have the manuscript ready on the fiction book
You need to do this.
for Jumpmaster Press.
That's right. Oh, you're going to go with Jumpmaster. Okay.
Well, that's my goal, is to have it done by then. I actually want to have it done by the time Imaginarium comes around, because I want to give it to
Kyle.
or not Kyle.
Yeah, that's Kyle.
No, because I want to give it to the guy at Hydra.
Oh, Tony.
Oh,
Tony.
Hydra,
Tony
Hydra.
Aker.
Yeah.
Aker, yeah. So I give it to Tony, and then a couple weeks later, I'll send it in to Kyle at Jumpmaster.
Yeah, and
You
I
might want to
did,
give it to Hillbilly too.
Yes, and I think Hillbilly's stuff
because
would be.
It would fall in
Three Ravens Press.
Yeah,
which
Three
is
Ravens.
that would fall into that. That would fall into his.
yeah, the more
arena.
macabre stuff would fall into,
Right.
and there
I
should
didn't
be an
mention them
element
by
of that.
name, but Jumpmaster's who I'm talking with. You guys know
Yes,
that.
yes.
But the listeners don't.
Yes.
So, and they've been
Yes,
very,
because-
very open and great and very good to work with so far.
Yes, and you know, I love Francis, but you know, I'm not saying that you would not have talked to Kyle and Tony, but we did have to push you.
Yes, you did.
We did because I talked up your book.
Oh, you did. I'm
To both
so
of them.
grateful to you guys for this, particularly to Robert here for working on that. In fairness to myself, I had events at work.
You did,
that week, I
but
could
this is a
barely-
common thing.
Oh yeah, it's
Your
a theme.
self-confidence and self-presenting yourself sometimes falls shy of the mark
That extreme
in
introversion
some personal
really.
areas.
And go ahead, Robert. Bring up Neil Adams.
I
know
wasn't
you're
going to.
I know you were.
No, I wasn't
Hey,
going to.
Okay.
Hey, I'm right
But,
there with you. I'm right there with
It's
you.
hard. Yeah.
And you know, and I get that.
It all
I
starts
understand.
with hello. I'm
does.
Steven.
But you know what? It's easier to talk up somebody else for some people than it is.
Or
Well,
Tom, or
and I
Dick,
will-
or Harry, or Joe, or whoever.
I really will appreciate the fact that that you talked to Tony at Hydra Press for me, and he was very I did send him my manuscript. I have not heard, and it's been months.
And now he takes manuscripts all year long, so who knows how long?
Maybe I will hear something. Maybe I won't. But the folks at Jumpmaster have been very
right,
good,
and they jumped on it pretty quick.
They
so.
did, and they were very clear that they like the concept. They're willing to work with me. Make these edits, send it back to them by February, which is here we are in January. So it's yes, I've been feeling a little bit of deadline, but I'm kind of looking forward to that feeling.
Well, you know, the deadline focuses your efforts.
It is, and to be honest, I haven't told you.
if you don't have a
You
deadline-
meet what they want, you're in. Basically, that's the stage you're at now. You
Well, that-
present to them what they want, they're going to do you.
Well, and that's what I'm thinking about, because I haven't told you guys that. I have done, because of the edits that they gave me on the sample that I sent them, I have made so much improvement. And you guys, most of you guys have read most of the earlier drafts. It's amazing how much of it has changed and how much I have deepened the ability to write. We talk about craft all the time.
Yes.
That has really upped my game so much.
Yes.
And there's no going back. It's like an ontological change, to use that word.
Craft can only be improved. Oh, yes, sorry.
Word boner.
Yeah, that's right.
Craft can only be improved. It's not just repetition.
That's correct.
It's repetition in response
Receptivity
to
for that.
constructive criticism.
That's right. And I don't even like the word constructive criticism. It's more like input and feedback.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. I mean, I'm okay with it. To me, that's one of those things. Like, if you're going to get caught, now, I'm not saying you are,
Yeah, you know me
but
well enough to know that.
some people do get caught up on that criticism part. It's like,
Oh yeah, but
you know-
every word I write is a sacred tome, and you can't change it.
or
Wrong
just
answer.
that they take the whole idea of criticism personally. It's not saying you're a bad person. It's
right.
saying this piece of writing could
That's
improve.
weak-mindedness.
Yes, it
because
is.
there are conventions
Right.
that must be done.
But the point is, though, that you've been working on it and doing that, and that's great. And
Well, it's for several years now,
Yeah.
and I'm finally getting to the point now where I can sit down and may say I write a new scene or insert a piece here. It's freaking boilerplate, off the cuff, spot on now. Whereas before, I mean, it took
it's
me.
probably not as spot on as you think it is.
Well, no, I have to re-edit it 2 or 3 times.
But I mean,
I don't have to edit it 20
But
times.
your first time
That's right,
is
it's
not the crap that it
damn
was.
close.
It's a better level of crap.
That's right. It is better. Very good. Better level of crap.
Right.
Because Hemingway's
It's a pretty damn clean copy, in other words.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
Right.
That's right. And
Phrase
that's
is
just
what
what
we're talking
I've
about.
learned because I've done that a few times. In the second book, I wrote a completely new scene that I was kind of like alluded to, but it never happened. And I sat down and wrote it, and I didn't have to change squat. I mean, I polished it, but it was like, that was perfect. It was exactly what you needed, exactly where it was, and you didn't have to mess with it much because I've learned,
So
as we all have, I think.
All right,
Good
back
morning.
So-
to Robert.
yes, because this is my segment.
All right, fun. Hey, I'm sure you guys had a fun time when I was gone. because
We
I-
did.
It
No,
was
we
shorter.
It was shorter. Dang straight. I
that's
like
true.
to think I'm the salt, the flavor that comes in.
Oh, I don't know. I think the saltiness comes from Cajun and Imperator.
I think you're the clay.
So very good. So very good with that. That's right, yes.
So But anyways, so
The flower in the roux.
the habits,
Very good, nice and
yes,
Cajun.
very nice,
Yes,
very
yes,
nice. So you talked about the habits, which will enable me to get to the writing projects. So I've got the nonfiction book taken care of. I've got some follow up things I need to do there because there need to be some multiple products in that line. Those will probably get taken off first, but that's not the primary focus of the year for writing. Getting that first manuscript
that was an
to the
amazing
publishers, start sending it out. That's the big thing.
A published author.
Yes. Well, I mean, I am.
God, I know exactly. I mean,
Yes.
you would not believe the excitement that I got.
Oh,
from that.
yes. When the proof copy came, it's a cliche, but you do. You look at it, you hold it, you flip through it, and you smile and you grin, you put it back on the shelf, and 5 minutes later, you're taking it down, you're looking at it, and you're flipping through it.
Well, I mean, we just because you showed us your proof copy this morning. It's the first time we've seen a
yes.
physical copy, and first thing I did is I flipped to the author page to see your picture and see your author bio because I know that's not what it's about.
No, but that is a very cool thing.
Very good feeling.
That
is.
is the gold
it's
sovereign that you need to get.
Yes, and it is self-published, but that's a very valid way of publishing nowadays.
Very much so.
Yes.
I know you, Francis, you've had the hardest time accepting that.
Nothing wrong with it. It's just not for me. I want to be.
You've had some very disparaging remarks about the
Have
process,
I?
and yes,
I am
early on,
so
yes.
Well, some of that goes back from what I've been reading. Like Mercedes Lackey is very much she pushes agast that.
Well, yes, that's because Mercedes Lackey
Started out in a day of ancient cave painting printing presses.
Well,
right.
yeah, I mean,
Those
She made her show.
those who started out
books,
in those who started out in traditional publishing, they always poo-poo.
See, and I'm
Well, not
learning
only
that.
Kevin J. Anderson's a good one that does not do that.
Yeah,
In fact, he's
okay,
become a hybrid author and running his own publishing company besides writing and publishing.
Well,
himself.
when you start your own publishing company, that's a little bit different.
You're right, and
Because you can publish whatever you want.
It's one of those
then,
things you kind of learn. We learn on our feet as we go
right.
through.
But and there are a lot of people that do write well. There's a lot of people who write total crap. So
That's usually the
But
criticism.
you know what?
Yeah.
I've seen more crappy writing than has been published by even big name publishers than I think I ever used to see. So I don't know if the standards have gone down.
There's some serious truth to that. I've noticed a
But-
few of these. There's a few out there. There's very few really amazing authors that come out at all.
And once you start writing, you have a much more critical eye about what you read, and it kind of ruins reading for you to a certain degree.
But I want to toss this out there too. On the flip side, you can put out some fairly crap that is entertaining and
You
people
can.
will enjoy, and
Absolutely.
it's not a problem that it's crap.
Well,
because they're having fun, enjoying, and
In
relaxing.
fairness,
Yes,
I'm not
yes.
trying to be highbrow about that. I'm really not. I'm talking about something that is pedantic and
Well, yeah, there's a lot of
cliche.
stuff
Hey, who invited Frazier?
Yeah, really.
Thank you.
Pedantic and cliche.
But
Thank you, Martin Crane.
Yes,
that's
right.
it's just the bad thing about self-publishing is that it's the good and the bad
Yeah.
is the same thing. Is it has removed the gatekeeper from the process. Some people needed a gatekeeper.
Well,
to keep them
and
from
there's
publishing.
fairness to that, but when it comes to taking down those people in power, because power corrupts. I mean,
Exactly.
come on, Martin, I know
Yeah, I
you
mean,
want more on this.
we love an egalitarian approach.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh God, he does it so well.
you
Word
know,
boner.
but yeah, I mean, you're right though. There's garbage coming from both sources.
Right.
So-
There can be more garbage coming from the self-published just because there's no barrier.
Yeah, and it is.
But
it
that
is the
stuff kind of
price you
falls
pay.
to the bottom
Yeah,
pretty quickly.
but traditional publishers are removing barriers in the interest of
Staying competitive.
feasibility.
well, just putting out stuff that again, you talk about throwing things at a wall and see what sells.
Well, that used to be a
kind
much-
of approach.
Yeah.
They chase trends.
They do. They chase
And-
trends and they're throwing much more than they used to.
Oh,
Well,
huge! Yeah, because
much more than
if
that.
you are
Yes.
politically correct in your characterization,
Oh my gosh, yes.
you're in, and
I mean-
you can write the most stupid premise, the stupid, blah 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 blah, and still get it.
I mean, we talked about it in our
Absolutely.
in our group chat. I was looking at the most recent issue of Writer's Digest that does a new agent.
Right? Yeah,
Spotlight.
I get those too. Yeah.
And probably 75% of the agents were looking for things that absolutely none of us would qualify for.
Well, that's right because it's
Not just because of being men, but because of the type of stuff we write. Because we don't write about the issue du jour of the
That's right.
Well, you're getting in
very
the
well put.
category of writing to market.
right.
That is a big
That's
thing
right.
too.
And one of the and it's ironic. It's almost schizophrenic because Writers Digest in particular, but others will. When you have authors that have maybe recently been published, the first thing they'll say is, "Don't chase trends."
Right.
And yet, that's
because they don't want you jumping on their bandwagon and making it crowded.
Well, maybe, but most of the times, I think it's wrong. I think there's a lot of truth to that.
It's good
there's
advice
no
in
authenticity.
this sense. Is that by the time you recognize something has become a trend, by the time you write something and get it to market, you've either missed the trend or you are lost in a sea. Now, if you manage to get into the beginning of a trend, either accidentally or you've had the foresight to recognize something, that's different.
There
But
are
it's
people
hard to-
watching the boards
Absolutely.
and the rankings that can push out something in 30 days' time.
And that's on
do
the
it
self-published
themselves,
side,
And
yes,
they can
yes.
write to market very well.
It's easier to do there. You can't
Those
do
trends
that
will usually last a year or two. I mean, it's not
that's what I'm saying.
on in the blink of an eye.
on a traditionally published. If you're trying to be a traditionally published author, that's where it falls down.
Yeah, you can't do it then.
Yeah, because there's just not enough time.
No.
So
Interesting, but those are people that have enough of a grasp of their craft. They can churn it out. That's pretty in pretty
Yes.
final
Now-
format quickly.
and
And
some
those
of
guys
them.
can do it for a living. Am I right? Is that what you're
Oh
saying?
yes,
There are
absolutely.
several of them out there doing it for a living.
Wouldn't it be nice? But I don't work that fast. Maybe one day I might, but
Well, some of them are doing it full time. Some of them are not.
most aren't. From
Now-
what I hear, but
The ones that are churning out a book a month, most of the time, those are not 300 to 400 page novels.
well, yeah, that's
Those,
things
so
have
they're
changed.
they're smaller segments.
You're
in
looking
a
at
series.
60 to 80,000 words at best.
Say,
Max. Yeah,
say
'cause-
80,000 is kind of like the magic number you have to be to
yeah.
be in,
The
for a
one, yeah. If you're
novel.
doing self published, I find that the books tend to be the 175 to 250 max pages.
yeah,
The
You're talking
the
about-
nonfiction book ended up being it's slightly big. It's not full trade paperback size. It's but it's not normal paperback
how
size.
many words?
It's right at 40,000 words, give or take a little.
Yeah, see, that's
That ended up being 175 pages.
I was going to say, which is half of a novel.
Right, which is half of a novel.
Right.
So that's
But
a 350
again,
page novel.
It's nonfiction. It's a different
nonfiction,
genre completely.
Different genre, yes.
Yeah.
So, and actually, there's a good chunk of that probably could have been condensed, but it's the exercises at the end of each chapter
Sure. I mean,
are repeated at the
it's
end
a very different
for easy reading and finding of stuff. So,
animal entirely.
yeah, it is entirely. I mean, it's written as a novel. It's a narrative nonfiction, but but still, the point is though, if you can get a 40,000 to 60,000 word book done every 30 to 60 days,
Oh crap! Yeah.
that you can make money, because if you can do that for a year to 2 years, you'll have a good backlog of work.
Well, think about it this way. If you're doing it full time and you put in 8 hours a day like you would a normal job or
Most writers
more,
can't work that long.
well, they're finding too, though, that you got to break it up.
Yes.
You're writing for 2
Absolutely.
hours, you're editing in a couple hours, you're doing your marketing in a couple hours, and you're putting 8 to 10 hours a day in like a normal job, which most people, once they get home and they're sitting there doing it themselves, don't have the discipline to do it. That's
Right.
what it
Well,
boils down to.
it's like I was saying,
But if
there's a
you
certain amount of
do-
energy.
If you do, you can easily put out a book or more.
Well, and Robert Scott,
book and a half.
you're exactly right. Discipline, which kind of
It
goes
is
back
discipline.
to your overall theme for
Yes.
to kind of circle us back.
It
That's
is-
kind of what you're suggesting, asking, bringing to us here is we should be disciplined.
Yes, and that's part of part of the
Can be
the-
all
the-
that,
the,
but
the
better than we are.
the Bourbon Journal, was it what's
The Bourbon Journal, that's right. Yeah,
no, it was Bourbon is better.
Bourbon is
Bourbon is
better. That's
better.
right.
The whole point of that is for us to create a habit of intentionally trying to make
There's
the show
an
better.
operationalization
Yes,
of what we're doing here.
Word boner.
Yeah, of what we're trying to.
I gave it to him. I'm in a good
It's
mood.
the theme, not the word itself per se.
Yeah. Nobody achieves great success without having great habits.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's just what it
All
boils down to.
failures.
Yes,
And
yes.
that's
Failures too.
Part of the process,
Yes.
absolutely.
Matter of fact, the bigger the failures, the bigger your habits that build that failure.
Go big or go home.
Yes. Well, mediocre are the only ones that don't go big. You either fail big or you win big.
That's right. Salieri, the patron saint of mediocrity.
Yes. Actually, he was actually a pretty good composer.
He was. I know. The movie didn't do him any favors.
It did not.
reputationally.
It did not. He just was no Mozart. But then who is?
Well, that's right. Well, hey, F. Murray Abraham is an amazing.
So are we on a record on time at this point?
No, we have gone past this time before. So.
All right. Okay. But
we are at 1:48, so we do need to
It's
wrap
time
it
to
up.
We need to wrap.
So anybody else want to
explain.
have it? Because Imperator just sits there and I think snickers at us in his mind. half
Well,
the
as
time.
Morton said, he's sitting over there sniping. Where he snipes, I'm the one lobbing the grenades right up front while he protects my backside.
There you go.
Well, he's doing something to your backside.
But I really like.
I lobbed that one out too with the grenade.
Just set that, and I just spiked it right over the net.
Martin.
So I really like. There's a lot of themes here of intention,
Yes.
vision, effort,
Discipline.
discipline.
Yeah.
That's how you really make a change or accomplish what you seek to accomplish.
That's right. This show would not exist without any of those things.
Well, that's right. And and this is somebody you'll never hear me quote, but Michael Jackson said it really well. Imagine that. He's over here. Cajun is over here dancing. I don't
I'm
understand.
having an epileptic fit from
He
your
was
words.
twitching.
Guy's twitching.
Or a
Yeah.
Twitching.
Seizure. That's a seizure.
Okay. Well, you guys remember the song "The Man in the Mirror"? It says, I'm
Nope.
looking. No, you really?
I am not a Michael Jackson
I understand that, but it was from the
I
'80s. And
was listening.
I remember
to
the
Judas
title. That's all I can
Priest.
tell you about
It's
it.
about
When he did that
I'm
with
looking
Paul
at the man
McCartney.
in the mirror and I'm asking him to change his ways, and that to me is because again,
Well,
He didn't
yes.
succeed.
But what we're talking about here are not glacial changes that
No,
that
not at
none
all,
of us
but-
wanted. But we're examining. Well, we have a goal. How do we get there? And we're talking about again this intention and vision and discipline.
sustainability is
And
part
effort
of it. Yeah.
and I thought there was one other common theme that went through a lot of this was gratitude.
Oh, yes.
that's
Gratitude
exactly right.
to the support and
Oh, you're right.
for us to
Absolutely, because
we're
let's
here
face
to
it.
discuss this, and none of us were like, "Oh, well, you'll never do that."
Well, because
But we were
knowing all of our wives and women as we do, our partners in our life, they are all very supportive of us.
Yes, I don't have a wife these days, even though I get introduced as a husband more times than you would think. I just slip of the words.
Nevertheless,
Yes.
Or
you-
premonition.
all of
I'm not
them
sure
are
which.
supportive. I mean,
Yes,
and
you do not have a Mrs. Cajun.
I
You
have
have
a
a Mrs.
Ms.
Cajun. Ms. Cajun,
but
yes.
every one of them are supportive. I mean,
Yeah.
and some of it, I mean, because the four of us
But the support-
have been here for. I mean, in fact, Imperators is the earliest of the marriages.
I have. Mine
That's right.
is
And I have the most.
longest.
That's correct. But they have all been supportive. And how could we do what we do
Yeah.
without the support at home?
but the support of each other
And that's very true too.
that we're doing here, that I find very fortifying.
Well, I would like
that's
to
a good
think.
word.
Yes, I would like to think that of the things that, especially the writing projects, probably Francis and I know Martin because he talks about all the time about how grateful he is for our support, which
Right.
we are happy to give. But we spur each other on to
we're
to
all-
keep doing
Yes.
it.
We're all at different points on the curve.
Yes.
But we all recognize that and push towards whatever we can do to make your life better and your product better and your success more real. We're there.
Yeah,
That's
Absolutely.
and
important.
again, I'm
There's a lesson in that.
a real success for mine. It would be wonderful, but the main thing that I'm so appreciative of what I'm doing is I'm just having fun doing it.
Right.
Well,
Right.
because
Just having fun.
Just finishing it is your major
Yeah,
aim right
No
now.
matter what else happens, if I get to a point where it's an end that I can actually show you guys
yeah,
and just go, yep, because of you, I actually finished it.
you're at level 2 versus on a 10-point scale.
Yeah.
And we were all there. Robert and I, we've been occasionally we've all been there, and it's cool.
Marcus.
It's cool.
Unless
That's right. That's
you're
absolutely.
paying the
Marcus is-
damn rent with it, it better be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
And it
Right.
still should be enjoyable even if it's
Yeah.
paying rent.
I'm just
Absolutely.
having a good time doing it and a good time discussing it with the fellas. And I have a good time discussing what Francis and Robert have been working on. And, like I said, it's all my hopes.
Well, that's right. And
I'm so
and
excited for you
I'm really
guys.
looking forward to seeing what this time next year brings.
Yeah,
for
and
all five of
I'm
us.
anxious to push on and cheer for Cajun as he embarks on something he can't really describe yet to us, and I respect that. So
But he is published already
It is-
too.
Yes, I've already had two out. But my quandary at the moment is trying to decide, and I can say this much, is whether or not to write in somebody else's created universe or say no to that offer and chase after my own projects at the moment.
I don't see the
Sure.
two.
Each one has its benefits and negatives.
yes.
I don't see them as
Absolutely.
mutually exclusive, but then again,
No, they're not. I could do both at the same
But
time.
you're one person and you only have so much time.
Right.
Yeah.
One's going to keep the other at a different speed. More or
Yes,
less.
I know
One
exactly what you
would
mean.
fall into, I have to meet a deadline with.
Yeah.
The other, not necessarily so.
And that's right.
But yeah, I know exactly what you mean
That's
because
the
I'm.
quandary why I'm researching, and I
Yes.
went through about 3 million words in the last 6 weeks.
And whatever
so
you decide, we
currently
believe in
published
you.
things
Yeah.
in this universe
Absolutely.
already.
Because once triggers get pulled, then
Right.
all of a sudden,
Yeah, once you have a contract, of whatever kind, whether it's with the publisher or just to work in a universe, whatever, and I understand it being pulled in multiple directions because I've been trying to get the nonfiction book done so I can do the fiction.
Yeah, I mean, you're
Yeah,
taffy.
and I've got,
you're self-schizophrenic.
and I am
Yes,
self-schizophrenic.
you're definitely taffy. You get pulled in a lot of ways.
Yes, and I'm trying. I've got the fiction series that I've got in mind, but I also have another series that I want to work on that's kind of tangential to
Well,
it.
that's
And I don't have time, and I'm running out of years.
yes, yeah, that is
God,
something
don't
that's
even
out
talk
there.
about that.
We're running out of years.
Let's just act like we're immortal guys. Connor McLeod.
Well,
You have a finite
Let's
amount
go
of
on.
time, no matter how many it may amount to.
That's right. And one of the things that is something that's very obvious that if you do hospital and nursing home ministry,
Yeah.
that strikes you very quickly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ain't a whole lot of fat guys in the nursing homes that make it to a ripe old age.
Well, fellas, the best thing to do is get active. Just
Exactly.
Just walking. It adds
Which
up.
ties back again to what we've been talking about a lot of this sort of
Yes,
stuff.
back to
Getting-
you
getting
got to
out-
have those healthy habits.
The Imperator is the ultimate example of getting the second chance and working through it and making things better.
Second, hell,
Well, I was going to say,
20th,
Fourth,
30th, who
yeah.
knows?
that's right. Yeah, but I'm speaking of the liver transplant.
The liver
specifically.
Well, that would be his third
That would
chance.
be my third chance.
Well, technically, you are on your second
I'm on my
installed
second
liver.
Installed, third,
Yeah.
match.
Right,
Yeah.
but that's because
But things hit you out of the blue. I mean, I had
Yeah.
both knees replaced at 46.
Yeah.
Right.
That's an unusual number.
It is.
Right, and you would, some people think, well, you're going to be laid up in your bed. Why can't you write then? Yeah, that's not exactly how that works.
no.
Yeah, when you're recovering from something like that, you don't
Your
have
focus is totally elsewhere.
exactly.
Yeah.
So there's lots of reasons. But the point is, though, as you said, Martin, be intentional, be disciplined, and get at it.
That's right.
Have a vision for where the end is.
Yes.
That's
Here,
right.
here.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So,
Well
Francis,
done. Well done, Robert. This was a wonderful episode.
thank you.
And we had no idea where we were going to
Yes.
go, as usual.
And you did a great job.
Fantastic.
Great job with where you staked us.
Thank you. Appreciate
Yeah.
that. I was hoping it would work out well because this is a topic kind of stuff as a group we don't really talk about.
Yeah.
No,
it did.
we
It worked.
should.
It
It's-
worked
it's
great.
very,
You did a
very
hell of a job.
And thank you very much for the books and the pen.
Yeah.
You're quite welcome.
Appreciate it.
I hope you guys enjoy them, if
love
nothing
You know
else.
we will. That's
It's a fine writing line, so you can use it pretty much anywhere.
So we
All right, so
turn this over to
Francis, what's
I
next?
get to do this again.
Yes,
yeah,
you
that's- absolutely. No, next time we're going to go back to something new. Actually, we've never
Go back to something new.
I know that was deliberate on that part to kind of because we've talked about we love craft.
All right, I'm already confused.
All right, stay with me here. We'll make this work. We love craft. We love those who do things well. We're going to talk about one of our favorite subjects that we've never talked about directly, and that
Yes.
is great directors. We're going to kind of
Film director.
film directors.
Start a little series on
Start a
film
little
director.
mini. We're going to do a little mini series for a little while, and this will be something that we'll kind of incorporate into our corpus as we go forward. That will appear periodically, and of course, we have to start with one of the greats, of course, and one of my favorites, Ridley Scott.
Cool. Very
I mean,
good.
the man. I mean, Napoleon has just dropped as we're recording this, and it is. It is. I
I
don't wanna
always
say,
thought you seemed like a Thelma and Louise guy.
we're going to talk about that. Absolutely, we're going to talk about that. That actually figures into my second book a little bit. It's actually going to be a very, very good and deep discussion of craft, of way things that are done so well with movies that we all love. So, and probably some that we didn't even realize. Oh, he did that. We're going to go deep with that next episode. So be here.
We hope you enjoyed another pointless discussion of eternal questions. Remember, new episodes drop every second and fourth Friday at 6 a.m. Eastern, just in time for your morning commute. And every fifth Friday, we drop a special Hoopajoob episode. Spread the word we are on all the major platforms, and leave us a review. That helps others find us. We're also on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, as well as our website, snakesandotters.com. Join us next time. Same snake time, same otter channel.